What is going on, y'all? Today we are going to be interviewing one Mr. Chadlet Maxxing, a short 5'3.5" broke loser discussing men's issues, men's self improvement, men's mental health, society, and the hardships of life, with a special focus on height and how it impacts our shared experience. If you're tired of listening to tall rich guys telling you to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, this is the short king to listen to. It's time to feel validated. Now, we're going to talk to Mr. Chadlet Maxing today, get his take, see how he came to this ideological position, see how he made the decision to become a black pill creator, and just do a generalized interview. I'm gonna go ahead and send him the link so we can start talking. Prototype. How do you feel about the black pill? Hello?
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
It's fine. I had a hard time getting getting everything set up. Um, but yeah, my grandma is gonna come driving up the hill at some point, so you're gonna hear that.
Okay,
You
well,
look
that's.
good today.
Thank you. Thank you. You look quite nice yourself. I like that shirt. I like that pattern. What is that underneath the like lines part?
It's a Novedade Sinaloa shirt from this Mexican store that opened up in the mall.
Oh,
Yeah,
does it have any?
it's
Sorry,
like
what
a
were you saying?
cartel style shirt.
I see. Is that like an aspiration? Just kidding.
Um,
That was just a joke. Anyways, Chadlet, would you want to introduce yourself to the audience? Like, how would you describe yourself? And like, if you were gonna give a TLDR about yourself.
well, I'm a very emotionally unstable person, and I'm 29 years old, just recently turned, and I haven't had a girlfriend yet, and I'm 5'3.5". I used to hate my height, but now I love it. I actually wish I was shorter, which a lot of people don't understand. Do you hear those birds?
I do, I do. What kind of birds are they? Sorry to distract, but
They're annoying birds. I don't know, but
you don't like them.
I mean, I like them, but they annoy me a lot when I'm recording. But
Fair.
anyway, um, so yeah, I'm almost 30. I'm terrified of getting older. I used to work. I mean, I went to college for business, and I had a corporate job, and it was pretty good for someone just out of college. That was the only time I ever got lucky in my life, was getting that job. And then the pandemic hit, and I moved towards wanting to start my own business because I'm just that's a whole story. What happened with that job? I've told that in videos on my channel, but it's really um, it really messed me up, and I never want to work for someone else again. So I've tried to build a small business for the last 6 years,
What's the
and
like short version of what happened? Was it just like a bad experience with the like higher
well,
ups? Was it like
kind of. I mean, I'm very ambitious, and I had this idea that I was gonna work my way up the corporate ladder and make connections and use that to as a stepping stone to like start my own larger business in the same industry in the future, and like kind of use those connections and that experience and like make a bunch of money and to help me get there and save up. But what happened is they didn't like my ambition. The coworkers wanted to sabotage me because they saw me as a threat, and every time I turned around, I was getting blamed for shit. And in my video about like heightism in the workplace, I talked about how it's a lot like with women when they're confident, they're accused of aggression. The same thing happened to me, and it really pissed me off. And
do you think that's
after
related to a height thing? Like as part of
yeah,
like the way society views the people of
because
different
when you're
heights?
looking down on someone, when you're someone who's looked down on physically, it creates this instinctual mindset in most people, unless they're like consciously aware of that prejudice and like check themselves. It's like
Mhm.
something that goes it's like, something from the prehistoric mind, and it's like you don't respect that person as much subconsciously because you know that they aren't like they can't do anything to you. They're someone that can be taken advantage of and used, and at the same time, there's someone that you expect to behave submissively. And when they don't behave submissively, it creates this feeling in the mind that, oh, this person is just overcompensating. Um, and the same thing happens with women in the workplace. So it's the same idea. You're expected to be submissive, and when you're ambitious and have a lot of drive, it goes against that. And I just like I went above and beyond to the absolute extreme for like a year at least, and
Yeah.
then I just realized that it wasn't gonna get me anywhere, and I decided to quiet quit. You know that term?
Yeah,
Your
where you just, like,
audience might
stop
not.
putting in the effort.
Yeah, I started doing the bare minimum, and that was during lockdowns, and, people stopped complaining, and I only worked, like, 2 hours a day and got paid for 8, and I ended up spending that time building the small business and used what I did learn from being in the sales and marketing department to do that. But here I am 6 years later, and it's gotten me I haven't gotten anywhere near as far as I thought I would. I've had bad luck and misfortune after misfortune. I
With your
never thought I'd
business?
huh?
With your business or just in
Yeah.
general in life?
Yeah, well, life too. But it's like, uh, so I never thought I'd be 30 years old. I'm not 30 yet, but
Yeah.
practically,
Yeah, yeah.
still living in my childhood room. Um, I'm here with my grandma and my mom. My mom's mentally ill. My grandma's slowly losing her cognition, and I'm just kind of stuck here because this is fire country, like seriously bad. And I just feel like I have to be here to protect and guide them and help set priorities and manage this property because it's all very complex. And sh my grandma has made some pretty poor decisions. So, and she has got high blood pressure now. She's ever since 2024. That's when things really started to feel like, wow, things are really falling apart now. She had a stroke a month ago. That was traumatic. So I'm just
Yeah.
kind of like, after 6 years of doing the business, I'm making like as much as someone who makes minimum wage in California would make, which is pretty good. But it's like minimum wage part time.
Yeah.
So I'm making enough to qualify for like just about at the border of no longer being able to qualify for state Medicare, but I still qualify for it. Um, so yeah, I've
And what was the business? Sorry to interrupt, but I
so it's like teas and tinctures, like plant
yeah.
medicine type stuff that's like legally dubious. That's why I haven't like announced it fully yet because there's
Okay.
some risks associated with it. But I once my channel reaches a certain level, that's when I'm gonna start like promoting my products. And I've already done it like on an individual level and made a few sales. But
Yeah.
that was kind of the idea. But it wasn't just about money. It was like so I had this greater purpose in mind for myself. I've talked about this in on the Raymond stream, Raymond Thoughts and Mine, and he didn't like that I um, had these goals involving hemp, like
Mhm.
industrial hemp, not smokable. And a lot of people just write it off and say, "Oh, you're just talking about drugs," but it's really not. But thing is it requires like $1 million at the very minimum to do
Oh my
something like
god.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind
Like
of
a
out of the
research
question.
facility or like what kind of stuff with hemp do you have in mind? Like
Well,
rope
you
making or like
all kinds of stuff, but my ultimate dream is like making like drones and vehicle
out of hemp?
parts. Yeah, you can make some of the strongest composite material there is, and it's completely sustainable, and it locks carbon into the soil, and it doesn't require any pesticides. It's a
Really?
really incredible thing, and it's the only reason I can think of that it's not being used right now to completely replace petroleum and concrete across the world is that, vested interests on both sides just don't want it to happen. Um, so
And
that's
like,
why,
forgive me for asking, but this is like real, like already made, not like in just in research theory, but like there's like hemp composites that work like plastic and they're like biodegradable and we're not using them.
yeah,
That's
yeah, they discovered
insane.
it in like the 1920s,
You're
actually.
kidding.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
God,
then the
that's so long
plastic
ago.
industry took over. So
Big oil.
yeah, yeah, and the metal, mining companies and wood companies and stuff like that. So it's pretty sad, but it's like that's what I wanted to do with my life ever since I was 15. And just it feels like the universe just has just fought me every step of the way, and it's made me really, really angry with God or the universe, whatever you want to call it. That I just wanted to make the world a better place and help future generations to not have to suffer as much. And I've just encountered one disaster after another. And that's kind of led me to this point where oh, here comes my grandma. After working on this business for so long, I was thinking that, okay, this is going to give me the experience that I need. And it's given me the experience I need, but it hasn't given me the money I need. And, my grandpa passed away, but he left his money to my dad. My dad's in prison long term, and he basically disowned me. He's kind of a
Do you
dick.
are you willing to share why, or is that like
Yeah,
TMI?
so he's a lifelong addict and stuff, and
Oh.
we used to have a close relationship. And then, in when I was a teenager and I started getting into this height thing, like height insecurity, I tried to
Mm-hmm.
talk to him about it, and he called me gay for it. And
Is he also short?
he's like 3 inches taller than me. I think he was even more than that before, but I was
Yeah.
stunted by chemicals. So I stopped growing when
Really?
I was 12 due to all these preservatives and shit because I was exposed to a lot of different things at a young age.
Do you
And
know what it
not
was, or just in general, like the exposure
my
to stuff?
suspicion, and I've talked to a pediatrician about this, is that it had to do with like cosmetic preservatives, specifically parabens. They put a lot of that stuff in like makeup and stuff. And,
Yeah. Did you wear a lot of makeup in
no,
like when you were growing
no,
up?
what it was is more like acne cream and like shaving cream and stuff like that.
Really?
And yeah, they used now they put like paraben free on a lot of things because people are more aware of it now. But back in the early 2000s, it was really, really prevalent. And it's just a really, really potent preservative that's meant to prevent mold. But like, I had like a psychedelic experience once where I started to think about all these things in a way that was like so disturbing, it like traumatized me. But it's like I was picturing human beings kind of like trees, but being formed up from like pipes that funnel different types of fluids. And
Mm-hmm.
the higher, like the more pure the fluids are and the more nutrition that they have, the better the end product is able to form. Like you see, like our bodies are made up of capillaries and veins around a bone structure, and that's very similar to a tree in a lot of ways. And it's guiding the fluids like a pipe, and the fluids are carrying whatever the inputs are that go into your body. And that's why I talk about elites a lot on my videos, is that the elites know this, and that's why they don't expose their offspring to this stuff, and they make sure their kids only have farm to table food with all the best variety of nutrition, and the end product is they're able to reach their full max potential genetically. And it's like a beautiful majestic gargantuan tree in the end for them. Whereas me, these chemicals accelerated the onset of puberty, which led to the sealing of growth plates early. And, there's a few other chemicals that also affect like the growth of your shoulders and hands and stuff like that. Like I was exposed to like marine paint when I was young too, because my grandpa and I painted a boat, and he
What's
probably
in
shouldn't have.
that? Is there lead in that? I feel like there would
No, it's
probably
not.
be
It's
some.
not lead. It's like there are special. Well, maybe it used to be, but not anymore. It's like they replaced lead with a lot of weird things that people don't know about that are like experimental. So it's like once they realize that lead was bad, they're like, okay, let's replace it with something else that does the same thing. But of course, it's going to also be toxic, but just in a different way. But the government
Yeah,
doesn't know
of
about it yet.
course. The
So
studies
that's,
don't say it's toxic yet.
yeah, I mean, there's no way they can know because it
Oh
takes
my gosh.
years for it to kick in. And it's like you don't expect kids to be playing around with marine paint either.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that happened. So all these things led to my growth stopping when I was 12, and it was really traumatizing for me because it was like I didn't really notice anything was a problem until like a couple years later when the doctor said your growth has plateaued. This is a little this is odd. Let's run some
Yeah.
tests. And then they ran some tests and I had a
Did they
mental
do a hormone
breakdown.
test?
Huh?
Did they do a hormone test? I know extremely
No.
high testosterone can also like mess with the bone plates. So
Well,
maybe you were
it
just
was
like
the early
ultra Chad.
influx. It was an early influx of testosterone, yeah, because that's
Yeah, because of
yeah.
the chemicals you were saying.
Hmm. And I was getting like body hair and stuff at a really young age, like 5. And
Really?
yeah, so that
That's
was
really young.
yeah, and nobody really paid any attention to that in my family because my mom, was severely mentally ill. My dad's an addict, so they just took all the attention. I didn't, and I was an only child, didn't really get much attention. Um, that might be why I'm so desperate for attention now. Um, but yeah, there's a few things that I've kind of gone off on tangents on. You asked me about my dad and about the business, and I get what I should say is that after 5 or 6 years or so of doing the business and seeing that I'm not like seeing much growth, and in fact, because of the economy and because of changes in the industry, um, like especially the smoke shop industry. I don't know if you've heard about 7OH. It's a very very potent like addictive thing that they're selling, and
Is that in the vapes or is that like the
no,
THCA
they're little
Delta
pills.
9?
It's not
Oh,
THC. It's
gotcha,
part.
gotcha.
I'm Some of my products are involved in that space. I won't say exactly what it is, but
The like
the
alt gray area, like
yeah, yeah, and
leaf
the
stores.
introduction of those pills like destroyed my sales in a lot of ways. So I had to like pivot into other things. But like I realized that I'm just gonna get older and older. And one of the things I really wanted to do was start a YouTube channel talking about like the issues of height prejudice and the problems that young men are facing today, especially short guys, and like talk about the conspiracies that I have and just things that I feel like I don't want to go to the grave without putting out there. And so I was watching this other YouTuber and that I used to really like that I don't like anymore. And he said, if you guys make videos like this, like basically talking to cameras and stuff like that, I can I'll cover your videos, I'll react and I'll help your channels grow and I want you guys to go out there and try to do similar things and put your knowledge out there. And that was in February, and I
Yeah.
was like, "You know what? I'm going to I'm going to do that."
And
And
does he like react to your videos and
he never did. In fact,
what the heck?
the first 2 videos I made, I actually emailed to him. And
Really?
I emailed him one week and I emailed him the next week. Those are the first 2 videos on my channel. I think it's I'm a 28-year-old virgin was one of them. Another one was I'm 28 burned out and feel like I don't really remember what the full It's just the first 2 videos I did, they're not bad, you know? They're a lot like the other things he reacted to, but my guess is that so many people took him up on that and that he just got
Yeah.
flooded. And I think he also like, he's a real red pill guy, and he doesn't I think he doesn't like the negative, um, like, mindset that people like me have, especially about height, because he covered a video about height, from somebody else about heightism,
Mhm.
and he totally just disregarded it and victim blamed, and I was just after I heard after that, I never watched the guy again, and I was like, you know, he probably even if he knows about me, he probably wouldn't wanna, uh, like, platform me, you know, because
Yeah.
he's a pick yourself up by your bootstraps kinda guy, and the ironic thing is that I am doing that. And I
Yeah.
have been. I've been working myself to the point of burnout, but it's like so I decided to just go ahead and do it because it's now or never, and I just felt like life was already falling apart, and, you know, the business isn't gonna grow like, one of the only ways to really grow a business these days is to have an online audience anyway, so it's like, "Okay, that's what I'm just gonna do it." So, I have been slaving away at it for since March, posting a video every week, committing to it, and I spend like 20 hours on every video.
Yeah.
Um, like a big chunk of that is on the thumbnails. But I have spent years studying YouTube content creation, you know, watching all kinds of those guide channels. Um, you know, I used to use vidIQ, but it kind of sucks now. But it's like I've done so much research. I read new r/newtubers every day, and I have for like years now. Um, I observe other channels like Mr. Ballin. He's a storyteller. Have you watched him?
I have
Yeah,
not seen him. I haven't
he's
seen him.
he's a really good storyteller. So I observe the techniques of these storytellers. I've listened to audiobooks and read books on storytelling. I've written a book before. You know,
Really?
I've
What was your book about?
it's actually an erotic story. So I can't like promote it on my channel that much, but like it's a
Yeah.
story about a tall rich elite woman and a short stunted like manlet who gets
Is it that woman that or sorry, please tell me finishing that, but then I have a question about this.
yeah, I mean she's like an elite from New Zealand who like who has him like kidnapped and taken out there after they meet on Instagram or something. And I wrote it in 2023. Took me a long time. It's like 100,000 words.
Yeah.
Um, but it didn't sell that many copies because I couldn't really effectively market it, especially because it's so hard to market that kind of thing.
Do
So
you
it's
think
like,
your current audience would read something like that? Like, do you think like a it sounds like a romance novel almost, but like, do you think a black pill community would read a romance novel about a tall woman and a short man?
well, I mean, with TikTok and its ability to find like very specific audiences, because
Yeah.
I also started with TikTok, and it's like I've found a lot of people um, who are into the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
and like not as much on YouTube, but there are enough, you know, as long as I don't really push it too much. I'm actually going to start I'm going to mention it in my next video just kind of offhand. It's called Looking Up to Her. It's on Amazon as an ebook if anyone wants to check it out. But yeah, I did that. Like I'm like I consider myself very experienced with storytelling. And that's why I've been so frustrated. I hate this light. I've been so frustrated with um with the progress of things. And I know that like you probably look at my channel and think I'm doing great, don't you? I'd
I
imagine.
looky. I mean, you're definitely getting a moderate amount of success, but it's also just like it's not the biggest YouTube channel. It's not Mr. Beast, right? Like you're not getting hundreds
Yeah,
of thousands and millions of views.
I'm really only comparing myself to other people in the niche.
You're definitely
And
good, like getting a ton of views for like a Black Pill channel, other than like I don't know DBDR and other channels like that. Like they get views, but
yeah, I've been into this type of content for a while, like a couple of
mm-hmm.
years now. And I've always thought I could kind of imitate their style and like add my own. social commentary to it, because I
Yeah.
don't want to leave this world without having a legacy, like an archive of my observations and theories about society. That, you know, because I have this feeling that a lot of this stuff, these predictions that I have, may come true about like the physical evolution of class disparity, like manifesting in physical form, like as two subspecies, like one of elites and one of the submissive serfs, and how they'll, you know, visibly diverge, and it's
Yeah.
already starting. And I just have this feeling like by 2100 it's going to be really obvious, and all the people that deny it now, because I get people deny it all the time to me, and it makes me mad. But yeah, they by then I just want my videos to be out there, so like in the future people will be like, wow, this guy knew what was coming. um
Yeah. I do feel like that's kind of an inevitability as long as there is like a disparity in class, you know, like you said, between the classes, because
Mhm.
it doesn't make sense how one group of people could have access to the world's most advanced technology and wisdom and like medical literature, and the other doesn't, and they like end up being the same. Like that's just
Yeah.
that's impossible. So I think I do agree hesitantly, not in support of it, but just as like
No,
that
I
does
don't
seem to be the way
support
that
it.
things are progressing.
No, I don't support it. But one of the things about my channel is that a lot of people will notice is that um I don't know if I can use this word, fetish. You know,
Yeah.
I do that with this because it is my only way of coping with the disturbing reality of it. Because it really all came to mind when I was 15, all this
Mm-hmm.
stuff at a really, I mean, that's a really young age. And everyone asks me, when did you first hear about the black pill? And I tell them 15, but the reality is I didn't even hear the word black pill until like 2019 or so.
Yeah.
And I just, I found something, I discovered those things before there was a word for it, like back in 2012. And that was a really rough year. And it was the year that like I discovered that my growth plates fused. And then I delved deep into research, reading all these peer-reviewed studies from Europe about the effects of these chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I, you know, did deep dives into all the different chemicals I could find and all the different products that I had in my bathroom and stuff like that, and like the marine paint and whatnot. And you know, even just as far as like cheap, shitty baby formula, like I wasn't breastfed. That's a bad start. Um, but it's like all these different things. It just was so disturbing for someone that age that like I became self-destructive, like to the extreme. Like I was wanting to go drive to the Golden Gate Bridge, even though I couldn't drive. And then I realized they had nets there, and I was like, oh, fuck them, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was so disturbing, and tried to compensate by working out a lot, and that's my most popular video. Is the gym maxing as a short guy didn't help me,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very controversial because so many short guys want to believe that there's like a way out, whether it's leg lengthening or gym maxing, you know, working out like crazy. And I did it for 4 years, like 4 days a week. And it didn't really have any noticeable benefit for me. A
Yeah.
lot of people try to say, "Oh, you weren't that strong." You know, but it's like maybe the picture I posted in my video didn't do it justice. I just didn't take that many pictures back then. I was like, I didn't do social media. Um, but it's like I was really strong. I mean, I could do like 30 pull-ups while holding like wearing a backpack. So I I I got pretty far, and I also started drinking though too because it was so emotionally disturbing. And I would go to school, and I had crushes on these like thick, curvaceous Latinas because that was my type back then.
Yeah.
And they always wanted the tall guy, and it like it just made me so upset because it just further reinforced my suspicions and my and none of the suspicions about like heightism and height prejudice and all that were confirmed yet because I hadn't actually found the real studies yet about that. I didn't really want to look at that point, but that's what drove me to drink. So by 17, I was drinking hard liquor multiple days a week. Like I would fill up mason jars. That's one of the things my dad helped me with because he's a very anarchist type of guy, and he felt that I should be able to drink. I paid him, but it's like I honestly, if it wasn't for the alcohol, I'd probably be dead, to be honest,
Yeah.
because it was the only way I could actually function and feel normal. And I actually got A's. I aced tests while drunk. Like I took the AP English test, and I never even took AP English because the teacher said if you can take this test, you get the credits for it for AP English. And I was like, oh, I was totally drunk, and I aced it. Pretty cool. But it's like I had to drink to be able to function. And my dad my dad thought I was just so pathetic because he wanted his son to be the cool guy, you know? And
Yeah.
that's where my dad comes in. Because like I guess I was one of the cool guys when I was like 14, but then when I discovered all this shit, it just like fucked me up so bad that I couldn't really socially function very well anymore. And
Are you
yeah,
familiar
he
with the
just told
term brainworms?
no, what's that?
It's like when like you learn about something and then you become obsessive about it and it like eats at you, right? But I'm curious if you think it was more of like a brain worm, right? Like you said you were the cool guy at 14, but as you learned about all of this, you became more anxious, you developed an addiction, etc. Um, do you think it is necessarily like A led into B, or was there like something else that could have like set this off? Could this also be related to the things that you consumed when you were young? Like, do you have any like? Is my question making any sense, or is
Well,
it
I
just
mean, I
like,
do have ADHD, but I didn't even realize that until I was 22. And that was because I was in college and everyone around me was like taking notes like they were on crack. And I got so jealous because it's like I thought I was smart and I just felt really dumb and I couldn't take notes as fast. And it was hard for me to listen and take notes at the same time. And at one point I turned to this girl and I was like, "Holy shit, how are you doing that? Are you smoking crack before class? Like what is going
yeah,
on?" And she's like, "No." And then I met this other girl and with her that was the closest I ever got to getting laid was with her. She was like 5 inches taller than me. So that was pretty cool. But
what's like the
she,
story of you and her?
so like we had two classes together, which is kind of a lot when you're in college. And I smiled at her a few times and she smiled back. And then I sat next to her and we just talked really casually. And I don't remember, like, we started hanging out outside of class. I learned more about her. And then I realized that she was like a rich girl. And that like made me more attracted to her. But at the same time, it made me feel really uncomfortable and like jealous. And she told me that she had a boyfriend back home. So
Oh,
like, yeah, and then one day she invited me to go to the bar with her and her sorority big sis or something and her boyfriend. And
yeah.
I got all drunk and I embarrassed her, I guess. But even though I totally made a fool out of myself and almost got into a fight with this guy, um, she brought me back to her master bedroom in the sorority house. She had the nicest room in the house. And we cuddled a lot there. And I won't go into detail, but it got pretty close and it was pretty great. But when she became sober the next day, I mean, I don't think she was that drunk, but like the next day she felt really guilty because of the boyfriend thing.
Oh, yeah.
And also she didn't like that I acted like that at the bar. Um, so like we kind of started drifting apart, and at the same time, I felt like I felt like she had it so much better than me in life, and she would try to talk to me about her problems and stuff, and I tried for a while to listen and stuff, but I couldn't hold in my feelings of like in inequity and stuff, like just feeling like a lot of the stuff she was telling me wasn't anywhere close to what I was going through. I should have just shut up. Like I've learned my lesson now, but yeah, she had an Adderall prescription, and she would like sell me some of her stuff, and I was
Yeah.
really jealous of that. I think that's the main thing I was jealous of, because it's like, and I get jealous really easily. If you've seen my videos or my community posts, ever since I was a kid, I've got a pathological envy problem. And I just felt like I don't want to have to be subservient to this person in order to get something that I should have a prescription to, and she
Yeah.
does and I don't, because I'm stuck with Kaiser, and Kaiser treats me like a criminal. Because I started smoking weed when I was 14. That's the other thing that led into the drinking. Because the weed stuff just started as a social thing, and
Mm-hmm.
then I started doing it every day to enhance my life. And then and then after a while, it just made me depressed, and it didn't block out reality enough. And I think I had some psychosis too, maybe a little bit. But
Mm-hmm.
Kaiser knew about that, because they everybody forced me to go into counseling and all this stuff, um and they wrote down what I said, and they made me look like some kind of, because that was around the time of all those shootings and stuff. And
Oh,
they made it out like I was a dangerous person,
really?
and I didn't even know. And I totally regret talking to the school counselor. I regret talking to the the counselor at Kaiser. And at one point, like, it wasn't until the middle of college, like literally while I was hanging out with this girl, like at the same time, not, she wasn't there, but I was going to a group therapy thing where everyone else there was female, including the group leader. And I didn't care. I never thought anything of it. But it's like a lot of them didn't want to talk. Like they just wanted to barely say anything. But I loved to talk. And the leader made it out like I was like domineering the conversation, and making people uncomfortable, and that I was a danger to myself and society, and I have an addictive tendencies. And as a
Yeah,
result, when I
you're
tried to get,
unmedicated ADHD. Of course you have addictive tendencies. Like, what do they mean? Oh my gosh, that's
yeah,
so frustrating to hear.
they didn't want to accept that I had ADHD. So I ended up getting, like, I got really determined to get this prescription, because I was like, I don't want to be someone's bitch for that kind of thing. Um,
Yeah.
so like I had to really go above and beyond and talk to the doctor, and then make an appointment to get an official test. I got the official test, and I really had to like, I know I have ADHD, but I had to make sure that I passed that test. You know, I won't go into detail, but yeah, I definitely passed the test. And that was the only time I ever got like an intelligence test. And
Like an
I,
IQ test?
yeah, and I really, it wasn't accurate. Like the end result wasn't accurate. Like they said I was above average, but I know that I don't want to say exactly, but because I don't want to like incriminate or anything, but I know that that was that was below what it actually would have been, you know.
What is the
So
range of above average? I think
I don't
100 is
know.
average. So
They
is it
didn't give
like,
me a number. They didn't give me
oh,
a number. They just said above average. So I just accepted
yeah.
that. And I I was like, okay, so I have ADHD now. Let's talk about medication. And the guy, this psychiatrist, I really can't stand this guy. He
Yeah.
tried to convince me to take this other stuff first, and I was like, okay, I'll play along. And he gave me this stuff that wasn't a stimulant, and I knew it wouldn't work, and I didn't want to play around with these chemicals and stuff like that. So after a month or so, I came back in and I was like, okay, it didn't work. How, you said that we would move on to stimulants if this didn't work. So, like, because I know that that will work. So, can we try
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's when he said, he's like, all right, just look, man, you have a history of addiction and cannabis use, and we don't want to take the risk on you with that. And
Yeah.
I got so upset. Oh, that was actually the last thing that happened. What happened before that is I went in to be like evaluated by these two doctors, and they like did an intervention, and they insisted that I didn't have ADHD and that I had bipolar, and they wanted to put me on mood stabilizers.
Really?
And I said absolutely not. I do not want to do that, and I'm out of here. It's like they were
Yeah.
practically blocking the door. I felt trapped. So I squeezed by them and left. And then that's when I talked to that other psychiatrist like the next week, and that's when he said that he didn't want to give me the stimulants. And I told him, well, you know what? I expected that, and I planned ahead for this situation. I'm already in I'm already in communication with a private clinic to get what I actually need. And he looked at me and he was like, wow, well, touche, you know, like he was actually impressed or something. And I did. I
Yeah.
went to a private clinic, and the guy gave me what I needed. And that's another thing with the upper classes and stuff, is that like um I had Kaiser because that's what my grandfather's union negotiated for. He was with the ILWU. It's the biggest longshoremen's worker union. I mean, they're great. They're great, but Kaiser is horrible for mental health. And when these other upper class people mainly have like Blue Shield and stuff like that, and like that's what that girl had. Blue Shield lets you use private clinics. So that's I had to pay out of pocket for private
Yeah.
clinic. And then the private clinic shut down a year later, and I had to scramble to find a new one. And thank God my manager was cool, because she said that we help our employees get set up with a cannabis friendly um, like clinic that doesn't ask that many questions. So I've been with them since 2019, since late
That's
2019.
good. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that. But yeah, my dad, we had major falling outs like throughout my teen years. Um, he uh, he thought I was like a sad, pathetic person, and he said that if he looked like me, he could get any girl he wanted. And I'm like a waste of my body or my looks. And it's just obvious that he's like jealous of me, because he got like a lot of women in like to be interested in him, but I
Yeah.
feel like he was exaggerating a lot of it, or like a lot of it was because he was a drug dealer. Um, he like
Oh, yeah.
used
That
that.
definitely makes people want you, right? Because there's a lot of drug addict women that will like, yeah.
Yeah, like he brought in
Why
this one
why is he like
homeless woman.
Fortnite dancing and mogging his kid? He's like, if I was you, I'd be getting laid all the time. He's like, "Pfft, you can't even get bitches. What the hell? Like who does that?
Yeah, yeah, he continued to be that way for years. And then like so I would get my like the stuff that I felt like I should be entitled to. Like I feel like the drinking age should be 18.
Yeah.
Um, and when I was 18, the smoking age was 18. And then by the time I turned 19, they switched it to 21.
Oh my
And
God.
I was a smoker, but I tried to move to vaping. So I was vaping instead. and I was improving. Like my lungs were improving because I wasn't smoking, even though vaping's still bad. But I was super active. Like I was working out all the time, and I was like doing tons of cardio, and I was just super healthy regardless. But it's like once they passed that law, I had to start asking him to like get vape stuff for me on my behalf. And because he's a Gen X guy, he didn't know what to get, even though I wrote it down, and it just got so frustrating. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go back to cigarettes. So
Yeah.
all that law did was push, young people back to cigarettes. It was a stupid decision um, here in California. But yeah, he helped me get that and alcohol um while I was still drinking. And then by the time I was going to turn 21, my grandpa, his dad, invited us on a cruise. And God, I hate this. One thing I hate about California is that it's always bright and sunny and in my eyes.
Yeah.
Some people like that, but I don't. But anyway, yeah. So we went on this cruise, and we were in the same room together, and he's just this huge slob. He barely showers. He wears dirty clothes, and he just really took advantage of room service and like spilled sauce all over the floor. He was taking Xanax the whole time, just like nodding out, like seriously abusing the hell out of it.
Oh my
And
God.
he would get this ice cream, he'd get these waffles and burgers and stuff, and he'd have the ice cream in his hand, and he'd be like, and then he would, and then drop the ice cream on the floor. And
Yeah.
same thing with the waffles, same thing with the burgers. There was mayo and ketchup. It stunk to high heaven. And I was like, hey, are you going to take your trays outside so they can, fucking bring them to the kitchen and so they don't stink the place up? And he's like, why don't you do it? And I was just like, are you serious? Like, so I did end up doing it because I didn't want to have to breathe that rotting food stench. But he did stuff like that the whole time. He threw dirty socks onto my bed. He turned the TV on full blast and all the lights on at 2 in the morning, even though he knew that I have really severe insomnia and struggle to sleep. And then when I was like, what the fuck? He laughed at me. The first day he said, we got into like some argument about something. And then he said, you better watch your stuff. Like he was going to get into my stuff and like fuck it up. So
Yeah.
I had a mental breakdown. I had to bring my luggage with me and like go to some other part of the ship and like lay in some chair and weep with all my luggage. And it was, we had some good times and stuff, but like I could tell he was just like jealous of me or something. And we were outside the nightclub and talking about how I wish I had the courage to go in there and like talk to some girls or something. And he said he felt the same way, but he said if I was you, I'd be able to do anything I want. Because my dad didn't take care of his teeth at all. His teeth are all rotten because smoked a lot of that stuff that starts with H.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so and then he said, I'd always wondered what it'd be like to be an abusive father. Can I burn you with my cigarette? And I was like,
Wow.
I looked at him and I was like, what? No. And so, and we took some psychedelics together on that ship too. And I won't say specifically what it was, but it was the biggest dose I'd ever had. And he just wanted to sit there and gamble the whole time. So I left and I had the most incredible magical experience of my life. But that was like the second to last day. And on the last day, we were back in San Francisco, and he looked at my he was all out of his Xanax, so he was a little bit jonesing, and he looked at me and he said the most fucked up thing that he's ever said. He was like, now that you're 21, because it was my 21st birthday that day, he said, now that you're 21, you don't need me anymore. So I might as well tell you that you're the most like what was the word? Um, it means stuck up. I never remember this word. but he basically said, "You're the most stuck up asshole that I've ever encountered in my life. I never liked you. I never liked hanging out with you, and I never want to talk to you or see you again. Um, so yeah, fuck off." Basically, is what he said. And
Jesus.
I was I that traumatized me. So I didn't talk to him again. That was in 2017. I didn't talk to him again until 2019. And he didn't break the silence. Like what happened was we had the fires in 2019 and we had to get evacuated and go to my uncle's house. And my dad was living in a tent in my uncle's backyard. And I didn't want to talk to him. And my uncle was like, "Hey, you should really just go out there and talk to him. And the electricity was out. There was nothing to do. So I just went out there and I told him, "Hey, I've got a good job now. I'm getting all these free samples because it was in the cannabis industry. I'll just say it.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and I so I but he never apologized. Um, he just like wanted to take advantage of my samples, and he acted like he was proud. Um, but like if he just never apologized. And then, I tried to hang out with him a few more times, and he always would do something that was really like fucked up or say something really horrible or like snub me or something that really rubbed me the wrong way until I just finally kind of gave up. And then he, in 2018, he got involved in this crime where, he got it was basically some people died of overdoses in his house, and there was a big investigation, and that's during that time. That's when he was living in the tent, and which is funny because he has plenty of money. Um, just nobody would let him rent anywhere because of the
Yeah.
evictions and all this shit. So yeah, he demanded that I write a letter to the judge to like back up his character. He was so entitled, insisting that I talk to his lawyer with him to help all this stuff. He got like an expensive Oakland murder attorney and wasted so much money and still lost. And they threw the book at him. He got made an example of. He got 16 years. And
Yeah.
and like I took and I was just as busy back in 2022 or whenever this was as I am now. If so, it was really difficult for me to take the day off to do that. And I went over there, and they didn't even he didn't even need me, but he treated me like such shit when I was there. Didn't show an ounce of appreciation, just totally
Yeah.
entitled. And and the attorney brought his son with him as like a bring your son to work day sort of deal. And I could
Yeah.
tell that the attorney was not happy with the way my dad was treating me. And if anything, it hurt him. It hurt his case. Um, so that happened. And like, I tried to talk to him about my problems one time because I was just like so depressed. I was like in a very deep abyss, and tried to talk to him about it on the phone. And he's like, "Shut the fuck up. Your problems are nothing to me. I'm about to go to prison. I don't want to hear about your shit. Your problems are nothing." So, and that kind of feels like kind of the way I thought about that girl in in college, but at the same time, I didn't say anything like that to her.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just really that's what happened with him, and he's been in there for a year or year or two now, and we were sending a bunch of letters back and forth at first, but then he basically told me in his last letter before I stopped talking to him that and I'm about to talk about this in my next video, so I won't go into too much detail, but he
Yeah. Yeah.
totally talked down about my business, even though he was supportive of it at first. Told me that I should just give up and go work a menial job as a cashier or something like
Really?
that. Yeah, he totally belittled one of my products. I made this tarot deck that really took like 200 hours to make, and it's sold like 300 copies by now. So it
Yeah.
it it succeeded, but back then it had just started and it took a long time to get off the ground. So yeah, he really destroyed, because my self-esteem was very sensitive, and it still is, because unless what I'm doing is doing well, I'm gonna assume that I'm just incompetent or not good enough, and he like confirmed that, and it sent me spiraling into a very deep, long-lasting depression that I never really got out of. And I told him, I was like, "Hey, I didn't like the way that you said that in your last letter. I appreciate it if you." Um, I don't know if I asked him to apologize, but yeah, he never wrote back, and that was a year and a half ago. So we haven't talked since, and I'd forgive him if he apologized. I'm a forgiving person. I forgive people who apologize, but very few people apologize.
Yeah. Somebody in chat had said that they said you need to listen to JLP. I think that's Jordan Peterson, Jordan Lee Peterson, and
I've
forgive your father, forgive and let him go because he's not a good person for your life. I'm not sure if that holds any resonance with you, but
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, I
Maybe
mean,
he'll never give that to you, but like maybe you could give that to yourself. I don't know though.
yeah. Well, I
Your
mean,
life, of course.
Jordan Peterson, he's a he's big into stoicism and stuff like that, which I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm not stoic.
No.
Um, I can't be that way. I'm too emotional and unstable and stuff. I I I used to be like, I went like 6 or 7 months without shedding a tear, but then things just really got worse and worse, and um lately the last few weeks things have been really bad. But I mean, by saying that I'd be willing to forgive him if he apologized, I in a way I kind of have forgiven him, because I'm saying that I
Yeah.
would be willing to. But it's like, if he did apologize, I'd be willing to hang out with them again, or like talk to him again, give him another
Yeah.
chance. I've given him like 10 chances without him ever apologizing for anything. So I've already really given him a lot of chances, and he's really just stomped me down. But
Yeah.
yeah, anybody else in the chat has anything? Because I know we haven't paid enough attention probably to them.
I've been keeping an eye out.
Oh, that's good.
Basically they are expressing a lot of empathy for you. Some of them have had similar experiences with their families. Um One person said that you're a very handsome man and it's not your height so much, but a lot of the like mental like things going on, and then they said that you need a professional lady to dissuade you from getting that girl obsession. Um
A
I'll let you
professional
just
lady, is that like a euphemism for something?
That's a euphemism. That's a
Okay, I
euphemism.
actually do have plans. I'm gonna go to the Netherlands. Yeah,
Hmm.
because I talk
The
about
red
it in
light
my
district?
yeah, I talk about it in my videos about how much I like tall women. Um, like, I love being towered over, and the word is height mogged, and a lot of guys that watch my stuff don't understand. Like, they hate being height mogged. I actually wish I was shorter, not taller, because
Really?
I like being height mogged so much. Um,
By
I'm
everybody or just by women? Like, is this like a
by everybody,
sexual thing or like
by
a?
yeah, by everyone, but
Are you
especially women.
bisexual?
I'm like, I I I think the term is hetero-flexible.
Okay.
Because I used to be really into FetLife, the website, and they had all these different categories and stuff, and I learned a lot. And I was 19 back then, doing that stuff, and really getting into that whole BDSM world, and learning all the different types of people. And so it is sexual for sure, but it's just it's my way of coping with the insecurity, because before, so what happened is, when I was 19, I had reached the darkest point of my life, where I had been working out for 4 years. Things hadn't gotten any better. I tried to get girlfriends and I couldn't. I kept seeing tall guy, short woman couples and
Yeah,
kept getting like rejected in favor of taller guys by the types of women that I wanted who were like super feminine. And I just like had a mental breakdown one day when I was reading this forum, like this feminist forum, where they basically were saying how like pathetic and worthless short guys were, and like
really.
using the term manlet and all that, and which I actually love that term now. It's like foreplay to me. Um, but back then it was like the N word almost to me. And they said such horrible things that were just so like hypocritical, considering that they're supposed to be tolerant and all that. And it made me so upset. And then at the same time, I think I saw another study about chemicals or about height or something. I don't remember quite what it was, but I decided I was gonna slide down the sewer. You know that euphemism. If I don't know if you know, but I can't say the word. Um,
Uh,
but
I okay. I don't know the euphemism. Let me Google it
okay,
really quick. Let me.
so basically self deletion, unalive. You
Oh
know,
yeah, no. People in chat are saying that you seem like you're into the idea of snoo snoo. So I'm sure is that
yeah,
the same
I am.
euphemism?
I am now, but the euphemism that I was using is one for not being alive anymore. You know,
Oh,
by my
like
own
like
doing.
a complete caving expedition, entire body caving expedition.
I I don't I don't know what that means, but it's just like I wanted to unalive basically. I don't know what word I can use, but that's the TikTok term. And I decided to do it. I made
Oh,
plans
oh my God.
and
I am so sorry. I understand what you're saying now. I am so sorry. I
yeah,
misunderstood. I misunderstood.
and I actually had it up to my head at that moment. And I've told the story
Yeah,
in some of my videos, and like something snapped in my brain at that moment. Like, and I think I talked about it recently in one of the videos, but it's like a self-preservation prehistoric instinct that it seemed like not every guy has, where um if you're put in a position where your brain knows it's about to die, and as a result of feeling horrible about your position in the hierarchy, you a switch flips, and all of a sudden you become a masochist.
yeah.
I don't know if I can I use that word here?
I don't think that one's banned. You spelled it, so if the AI
So
can spell, it's gonna put it together.
I don't know. I became masochistic, you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and I became submissive. So I went from being a wannabe dominant alpha male who just wanted to dominate women and wanted a very like like thick, curvaceous girl who's shorter than me, who was really feminine and submissive, and me wishing that I could be the big, strong alpha male. Um, and that whole time I was trying to fit a square peg into a round hole because I was never gonna fit into that. And
yeah.
then all of a sudden, I just became the complete opposite in less than a
Was it
second.
like instant? Like
Hmm.
really?
Yeah, completely instant. And then I was filled with this like euphoric bliss that just like I had taken drugs or something, and
Yeah,
all the things that had just made me want to die all of a sudden made me want to live. And like I had been having nightmares very frequently up to that point of being called to the front of the class and having to like stand next to a tall girl. Um, and yeah, and like having the class laugh at me. And I remembered her shoulder was like here, and I would look up and look up at her, and then at the class, and everybody was laughing, and I would wake up just sobbing, and like,
yeah.
and that happened like multiple times a week, and it
After
was
the
so
conversion with the thing?
yeah, it turned into like there's a there's a large vulture flying by. It turned
Oh, is that
into,
what that's what you're looking at? Yeah.
yeah, it turned into like I don't know if I can say this, a very pleasurable dream after
I
that.
understand. I understand.
And it
So
was
sobbing, you'd wake up crying and you would wake
no,
up
but
liquidy and
before
multiple.
before
Understood.
this
Understood.
happened.
Understood.
So
Gotcha.
before this happened, I would have those nightmares, and it was
Yeah.
horrible. And I'd wake up crying, and it would fuel my self-destruction. But then after this happened, I had those nightmares a few more times, and they were like the most incredible dreams I could imagine. And I would wake up like so like aroused and like invigorated. And instead of
Yeah.
going to class and like wanting to wear like lifted shoes and stand up super straight and like feel compelled to work out all the time and like I actually would refuse to go to the front of the class if I was called up, if there was like a tall girl up there. And it happened multiple times. I actually got in trouble for that in high school. And I was too ashamed to tell the teacher why. She just thought I was being rebellious and she hated me.
Yeah.
But like after that, I looked forward to that. I wore the flattest shoes I could. I didn't care about like standing up super straight to be taller, even though, I wanted to have a healthy posture, but um and when I would see tall girls before this, it would like ruin my day to the point where I would have to go home and drink heavily. And now I didn't really want to drink that much anymore. And I was able to slowly taper off the gin, and I switched to beer, and then I tapered that down, and then I basically stopped drinking more than like just a few times a year. Like within a year from then, um,
Yeah.
it's crazy. By the time I turned 21, that I could actually buy alcohol, I didn't really buy it that much anymore. And but yeah, I loved seeing tall women at school. And like I smiled at them, and some of them smiled back, a lot of them just ignored me. Um, and I just thought, okay, I've just opened up a whole new world of potential suitors, and I was so excited, and I just felt completely liberated. But slowly, it started to settle in that like all my attempts at attracting women like this, first of all, they're incredibly rare, and like they weren't showing interest in me, and it just wasn't like it wasn't happening. So that's why I kind of started getting on FetLife and on Facebook groups and stuff like that. And I've actually like some of the few experiences that I've had with tall women have been with trans women. And so like they've been a lot more receptive to me in my experience. This is interesting. This guy commented on the announcement post on the community tab today, saying, "Aren't trans people, um, like male to female trans people, the ones that are like most hostile to short men?" And I kind of didn't really understand where he was coming from there. I haven't experienced that at all. In fact, it's
Yeah.
been the opposite for me. So, but yeah, I met this woman who was 38 when I was 19, and I
Trans
went to
woman?
her house. Yeah, huh?
A trans woman? Or
Yeah,
a
she was
cis woman? Okay, yeah.
trans. She was 38 when I was 19, and she was 6'1", and we had a lot of fun. And but of course, she hadn't had the surgery yet, so there wasn't much we could do. But it was
Yeah.
still a lot of foreplay, and it was fun. Um, but like it was so weird, considering that she was literally twice my age. And there was this other older guy living there. Like she was living with this older guy who was like a gay guy. And
Mm-hmm.
it, he like insisted that he was like entitled to be involved somehow. So I won't go into detail, but he did some things. But that was pretty
Did
messed up. Um,
that made you uncomfortable?
yeah, I shouldn't say exactly, but I was basically
Yeah.
a victim of something. It wasn't anything violent, but it was unconsensual.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I wasn't
I'm
interested
sorry
in
that
him.
happened.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it was that big of a thing until later. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, and then I dated another trans woman who was 5'11". She was very pretty, but she broke things off because she didn't like that I made her feel less feminine because of the height. So so that was where I just started realizing that, maybe.
Was it something that you did, or just like her being next to you and you being like a short guy and her being a tall woman?
Well, I think it was partially the fact that I was attracted to the features about her that made her feel more masculine, like her
Yeah.
height, her broad shoulders. Because I love tall women with broad shoulders, with flat chests, like with V-shaped bodies, basically like the opposite of what's considered traditionally feminine features, which is why I have been open to a lot more trans women than most guys. But it's like they didn't like she didn't like that because that's not who she wanted to be, you know.
Yeah.
And I get it. But it was also the height difference too. And cuz and also that I'm submissive, and she was submissive too. It's very hard to find
Yeah.
any woman who's submissive or who's not submissive.
There's definitely
Um,
a top shortage in the trans women community.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And in the regular and in cis women as well. Um, but like the ones that I have found, the cis women I have found who are dominant on FetLife, it seems like they all either want tall subs, they don't want short ones, or which I don't really get that, but okay. Or
Yeah.
they just want to get paid and they just see it as a transaction, was kind of depressing. So I started getting really depressed about like I thought this was going to open up this all these opportunities for me, and it didn't. In fact, in many ways, it limited my prospects because tall women are just so rare. But the women I liked before were really rare too. Like I
Yeah.
literally went from liking a certain type of woman to the exact opposite. So like there's this one there's this one girl on TikTok called Princess Pear, and she's like a pear shaped, like plus sized woman, with very large hips. And that's what I really, really liked before. And they were rare too.
Yeah.
But those types of women almost exclusively want tall guys. And it makes sense because they have a lot of estrogen and it's driving their desires in like a primal way. So so it's like it's weird how I went from liking one extreme to the other. I'm a guy of extremes,
Yeah.
all extremes.
That's definitely interesting. Speaking of extremes, I'm curious, you're comfortable dating trans women. I'm curious if you've ever had any thoughts like you might also be aligned with like a trans woman experience. Especially given, some of the feelings around your height, the like dissatisfaction with like the way you're perceived, et cetera, et cetera. Like, has that ever been a thought in your mind of like
So
not just gym maxing, but like trans maxing or something?
I mean, maybe a little. Definitely not. Before I had that switch, like
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
be honest, before I had that switch, I was like a hyper naturalist. Like because I was so
Hmm.
against all these chemicals and I was an extreme environmentalist. I was like somebody who really wanted society to go back to a more primitive way of living where everything was just all natural, and we didn't have any like weird chemicals or anything like that involved. And as a result, I had a really negative view of trans people because I felt like you know these chemicals and hormones and stuff that they're being accessed by people. Like what if those people have children in the house and somehow the kids get access, like somehow they find it and they don't know what it is and they somehow get it in their bodies? Like that'd be really messed up. Got to make
Yeah.
sure that doesn't happen. But
Especially
like
testosterone. Because that would be
Yeah,
the same exact issues that you've been having if like a young child gets into testosterone, like, like a 5 to 15, like
yeah,
the bone plates, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
yeah. Well, any introduction of a foreign hormone or hormone mimicking compound into the body, whether it's testosterone or estrogen, it's going to have negative effects like that are going to create an unnatural development. And
Yeah,
like what it'll do different things, if there like with xenoestrogens like BPA from plastics and stuff, that'll create, gynecomastia, the development of breast tissue, which can lead to um, lifelong insecurity for that too. And it's like, but it's different ones do different things. But I just felt like, why take the risk? Like in my mind, it was like people shouldn't like these chemicals just shouldn't be out there, period.
yeah,
And that was my view on it. I'm a little bit more like I'm a lot more like moderate now. Like I just think,
yeah,
okay, it needs to be protected, it needs to be regulated and keep out of the hands of people that shouldn't, like developing children that shouldn't be getting into it. Um
yeah,
but so back then I was totally repulsed. I was repulsed by repulsed by trans women. I was repulsed by tall women. I was repulsed by any women that looked masculine in shape or size, to the point where like I didn't want them anywhere near me. Like if there was a tall girl who came near me, I would like go away. And there was this one tall girl. She was very beautiful. She was probably one of the most beautiful girl in school. She was a model, and she was 5'9". And she looked like that, and she would try to talk to me in senior year while I was talking to my actual crush, and like butt
yeah.
into the conversation and try and get my attention and like come between us.
She
And
was like
I
into
was,
you.
huh?
And I said it
Yeah,
sounds
yeah.
like she was into you. Yeah.
Apparently she was, and I figured that out later on. But I really got mad at her, and I was like, "Hey, can't you see I'm trying to talk to somebody?" And yeah, so but by the end, it became clear that she liked me, and that was pretty cool, and that gave me hope later on in my life that, hey, maybe I can attract a tall woman. But I guess that was just a lucky thing. She actually still watches my Instagram stories, like
Really?
13 years, like I don't know how long. Yeah, 11 years later, she still watches my stuff.
You
Um,
could always slide into her DMs.
yeah, well, she lives in New York now. But
Oh
yeah, we
yeah.
we talk sometimes. Um,
Hmm.
but like, where was I? So the whole trans thing after this switch happened, I really wanted to embrace being a male who didn't, who was like defying gender roles, a cis male who didn't fit in the like physical expectations of what a man should be. And I was
Yeah.
enjoying the idea of being like an inferior, stunted um, guy who had like a body shape that wasn't masculine. And I enjoyed that. Oh, here's grandma again.
Mhm.
Um, but it's like the last few years, I've been feeling like really jealous of a lot of women online, because
Yeah.
I see how easy it is for a lot of them to grow like Instagram accounts and TikToks and stuff like that. And I, especially because of my business, like ever since I started my business, I've slowly become more and more like envious, because I know that if I was doing what I'm doing now, or like what I started doing in 2020, started the Instagram account, posted pictures of myself with my product, etc. If I was an attractive woman doing that, like I would get way more attention. I'm sure my business would be a lot more profitable by now. Have a lot more followers. And I checked out this Face app thing. Have you seen Face app? Yeah, well, it's
I'm
like,
familiar with FaceApp.
yeah, so it's like I tried switching the genders. It was actually
Yeah.
one of my friends who showed it to me, and I just like I thought that the female version of me looked so like incredibly beautiful, And I
Yeah.
just thought if I was born female, like my life would be so much better. I mean, especially if I looked like that. Um, because I definitely looked really good because my mom was extremely beautiful,
Yeah.
and I've got a lot of beautiful women in my family, and I just I probably, but you know, maybe in that life I wouldn't have started the business because I wouldn't have felt the drive to do it because I probably would have tons of guys interested in me and would have gotten married and very possibly become like a trad wife or something.
Yeah. Do you think you would have
Yeah.
aligned with that kind of lifestyle? Like, would you have been a trad male if you were a tall guy?
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I was super, super, like wanting to be dominant and masculine and alpha until that day that I snapped.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
cause it's like, like ever since I had the initial influx of testosterone, I remember when I was like 8 or 9 years old and I started seeing like some starting of like chest hair and like body hair and stuff like that. And I noticed that my shoulders got a little bigger. And I think that I felt um invigorated by the testosterone. And I just looked at myself and I thought, I'm gonna be big and strong, you know.
Yeah.
And I looked in the mirror and I like put on a really tight shirt and I'm like, and I just felt like I was going to dominate. And I really think that that was the early influx of testosterone, like being kind of like a drug in my body from a young age. And like definitely pushed me to want to be a traditional type of guy. And if I was tall, I definitely would be like that way to the
Yeah.
max. So I'm a guy of extremes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So it's
Hmm.
not something you think about. Well, I actually don't know what how you answer that question. Is it something you think about, or is it just something you think about in relation to like your work stuff?
Okay, so I I guess I didn't fully answer it. I wish I was born a woman,
Yeah.
because I know that I would have been incredibly beautiful, but I don't want to transition, and I never wanted to because
Yeah.
I would have wanted to be born that way,
I
and
get
I
that.
would rather just experience being a a short man who likes like being dominated by women that don't fit in the traditional like physical phenotype of what's considered like feminine.
Yeah.
And it's just exciting. It's a role reversal. It's it's really like it brings a spice to life. And I used to have such a stronger libido. But yeah, it's like I don't want to I don't want to transition because it's I don't want to offend you or anything, but it just doesn't feel the same to me. Like I wouldn't be
I'm not
happy.
offended. I'm not offended.
Okay. Okay, good. I wouldn't be satisfied. Um, I would probably look at and I know that they have all these surgeries and stuff, but like I don't think I'd ever be able to get over the thought of like that I am not like I wasn't actually born that way, you know. I couldn't get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, what was I gonna say? Um, I don't remember. You can guide the conversation.
Sure. So I guess I want to ask a little bit about your feelings in relation to yourself now. Like you were talking about how you right after you kind of snapped, right? For a few years you like leaned into this kind of androgynous, atypical, gender nonconforming male identity, right? Where would you say you are today? Or do you still think you're like aligned with the way you felt right after the snapping?
I do. Obviously I've got a beard now, so I mean I'm not
Yeah.
going all the way um as far as that goes, mainly because everybody told me that my face looks better with the beard. except there's this one woman who's like 6 feet tall. I really like her, but she lives across the country and she's married.
Hmm.
I talk to her all the time, and she says that she would like me without the beard, but it seems like that's a little bit an uncommon opinion. But it's like, so I did a compromise. I just have my beard close and don't let it grow long. Um, but one of the problems is, and I mentioned earlier, is that my libido has declined. And I
Yeah.
remember when I was 19, I was just so virile, and I had this intense sexual drive to like find pictures of tall women online and talk to people and have like erotic conversations and um try to get a girlfriend, use dating apps and all this stuff. And like I would actually go to stores like and farmers markets and stuff like that just to walk around and um feel small and inferior compared to like tall upper class women like getting out of Mercedes and stuff like that. And I would just like really get off on that. And it brought like this spice to my life is the best way I can describe it. But after the lockdowns happened and um all the isolation and stuff, sometime between the beginning of that and now, my libido really declined. And um and it really sucks because life is a lot more boring. I still have a sex drive, especially because I've been taking all these expensive supplements and stuff to try and um reinvigorate it, and it's worked a little bit, but it's like it's like 20% of what it was several like 5 years ago. And
Yeah.
it's disturbing. I don't really know what the deal is. Some um I think it probably has a lot to do with the depression, the increasingly progressively worsening depression, and
Even up
also,
to the modern day.
yeah, and
What do you think
also,
has been causing? Oh, sorry. I'll let you finish. Sorry.
so what was I going to say? Also, so the depression and the isolation, because we were all isolated here in California. It lasted for 2 years, the
Yeah.
lockdown. And I worked from home, barely went anywhere. Then now I've been self-employed for the last 5 years, or not, yeah, no, 4.5 years. And um, it's like I don't see that many people. And around here where I live, there aren't very many tall women. It's all um, old people and immigrants from Mexico. And the few tall women there are all like married and stuff. So, but when I was in college, I would see them all the time, and it really, really, I think it helped kept reinforcing it in my mind. I'm gonna get a testosterone test though soon to see and make sure there's nothing wrong with my hormones, because I
Yeah.
got that test in 2022 and it said that my hormones were normal. I don't know how it is now. We'll have to see, but yeah, the depression has gotten worse because when I first started my career in 2019, I was really excited. And then I got down as I realized that the job was not giving me the recognition that I felt that I should get, and not like a pathway to advancement. And
Yeah.
and then the lockdowns happened and things got worse and worse. And that's when I decided to start the business in 2020. And that took all of my attention, and I still was working at the same time. So I was just really, really busy, not thinking as much about sexuality as much anymore. And then I was really excited. So when I first started my job, I felt like God or the universe was opening doors and guiding me toward my destiny of trying to create this hemp business that was going to help save the world. Then that the job ended up being a disappointment, and I was like, okay, I'm going to start this business now. That's the door that's going to open. That the universe is prepared for me. And as slowly over the course of several years, I just had one misfortune after another, like major misfortunes that I think I've gone over some of them in my videos, but like um it's just beat me down over time, more and more until I just kind of like my spirit broke a little bit, and my I just became more and more burned out until this year I kind of was jaded about the business, and that's when I started the YouTube channel. And
Yeah.
I was really excited at first, but my first like 4 videos only got like 5 views after a week, and like I didn't know if that was normal or not. I just assumed it was and kept going. I didn't get a video over 100 views until like 2 months in, and then after that, I started getting, over 1,000 of here and there, and I was real excited. And then um, July hit, and I posted something in my community tab that where I forgot to censor like one of the screenshots where they she talked about male genitalia or something. And I was like, because I realized that right after I posted that, all of my graphs that were going like that all of a sudden went like that. And I was like, oh, a week later, I was like, oh shit, I just got myself shadow banned. And I deleted the post. But then
Yeah.
come August, um, I got another video that did well, and I was real happy. And I think the next video after that did well too by my standards. And I just had myself to compare to, and I felt really like good about the progress. And then my grandma had her stroke, and that was a life changing traumatic experience that I
Yeah.
had to handle fully on my own because my mom is no help. And so I had to really take on some serious responsibility there. And then after that, I think I made the next video after that did even better. And I was so excited. And my TikTok got banned though, like the week
What?
before.
For what?
Hey, I'm out here on doing the live stream. Oh, that's my grandma. I keep getting interrupted.
She's just
Um,
trying to make sure you're doing okay.
okay.
She loves you, I think.
Yeah.
I actually don't know your relationship.
No,
I'm assuming she loves you.
she's great. She's incredible. That's why it was so hard on me when she had the stroke.
Yeah.
Um, because she's my mom essentially, and I've already lost my father figure, which was my grandfather, to cancer in
Yeah.
2018. And yeah, so I'm gonna feel like an orphan if anything happens to her. But basically, oh yeah. So it's like the week before, like if like several days before she had her stroke, my TikTok got banned. And I was like, holy shit, I had built this up over the course of like 6 months to 6,000 followers. And I was doing great. And had all these people that loved me and talked to me all the time. And then it was just gone because one day they banned the black pill tag, which was BL4CKPIL. And everyone, like people had been using that all over the place this whole time. And then all of a sudden, like 100 people I knew got banned at once, including me. And
Yeah.
I panicked. I spent several days talking to Chat GPT because I'm really big into using Chat GPT, and it told me exactly what to do. It wrote the letter for me, and because it knows all about everything that I'm doing. It knows me
Yeah.
very well, so it was able to explain to the TikTok team why I shouldn't be banned and all this stuff. And I sent it to the right people, and then I got this email back um, that Thursday morning saying, we have decided to uphold your ban. And I was so, or no, it was Friday morning. And I was so devastated. And then later that night, I sat down and I had just kind of accepted it, I guess. I was just like, I'm just going to do Instagram. It's going to be chill for a while. I'll do Instagram and YouTube. And I'm just going to post all of my saved, archived TikToks to Instagram. And then
Yeah.
that night, I sat down on the couch and I opened up my thing, and some guy said, hey, it looks like your account's back. And I was so like, I couldn't believe it. And that's when I called out to my grandma. I was like, hey, it looks like somebody said my TikTok is back. And I opened it up and it is. And that's when she started speaking in gibberish and and not making any sense. It sounded like she was piecing together words in the English language that had no connection to each other. And I was like, that has never happened before. So I panicked and I went and tried to see if she was okay. And she wasn't okay. So that whole
Yeah,
weekend was a nightmare.
that
But it's just
sounds
crazy how
horrible.
sorry, what?
No, I said just said that sounds horrible.
Yeah, the second my TikTok came back, literally the moment, that's when she had her stroke. And it's like that kind of feels like that's how my life is, where I work really hard on something really bad happens, and then something something that seems to be good happens but really it's just that, oh, what happened that you thought was bad isn't as bad. And then something even worse happens right after that. And then I just have to keep going. Just kind of feels like that's how my life has been. And I got monetized on my channel in like 4 weeks ago. And I was super happy about that. And then right after I got monetized, all of a sudden my views became 30% of what they were before.
Mm,
And it continued that way for like the next 4 videos until until and that this is what leads to when I really started getting depressed. Um and I just started getting extremely depressed in the last 3 weeks. I don't know if anyone here has seen my community tab, but I've really been crashing out. Like losing my mind and not giving a shit. Like, because I don't. I speak my feelings and on permanent online platforms, showing my face. I just don't care anymore because before a few weeks ago, I only had myself to compare to as a content
yeah,
creator. And I was upset that I was doing worse than before, but it wasn't anything too horrible because I thought, okay, I might get out of this. But then all of a sudden, some guy sends me this link to this new content creator who made a channel very similar to mine, except he doesn't show his face. Seems like nobody else shows their face except me in this realm.
yeah,
Um, and I was hoping to become like I wanted to be remembered as a person and build a personal brand rather than just a faceless channel. And that's my mom. So hey, I'm doing a live stream, just so you know, but you can walk down here and walk by. So basically, um, so they sent me this other channel, and I looked at it, and I was like, this seems a lot like my channel because it was about short guy stuff, like getting through insecurities and stuff like that. And
yeah,
he posted his first video, and I noticed that it hadn't been 24 hours yet, and he said this guy mentioned you in his video. And I watched the video, and he did mention me. He made fun of what I said to this one really tall girl in college. That it's one of my more well known videos because of how ridiculous and stupid it was. Um,
yeah,
and I didn't really care too much. Like people can make fun of that. I like the attention. Um, but like I realized that his video was approaching 1,000 views within 24 hours as his first
yeah.
video. And I was like,
Wow.
what? Like I only got 5 views on my first video. This is like not fair.
Yeah,
And I was a little bit upset, but I just tried to not look at it again and move on. And then a week later, I was just looking at some random playlist because it said my video showed up in a playlist, and I looked at the playlist and I was scrolling through, and then I see his video, and I see that
yeah.
it has 16,000 views.
Oh
His
my
first
God.
video, yeah, and in one week, and I was just like, I haven't even gotten 16,000 views on a single video yet, and I had posted 28 videos by that point. And I just like started kind of having a mental breakdown. And then I found him on TikTok and I followed him, try and keep an eye and see what he was up to. And he had already followed me actually, and he was watching all my stories. It's his channel is called Great Tall Immortal. I try
Hmm.
not to say it that often because I don't want to like direct people over there. Because I had this one guy leave a comment saying, "Thanks for letting us know. I'm gonna go subscribe." So, I got some trolls trying to piss me off, but yeah. So I saw on his TikTok, and he had just started his TikTok too. And in 1 week, he reached 1,000 followers. All six of his he didn't get under he had one TikTok get 8,700 views, but other than that, his average was like 100,000 views on these
Oh
first
my
six
God.
TikToks. Yeah, and they were literally just clips from his YouTube videos that said at the bottom like, "Watch the full video on YouTube." And this one got 220,000 views. And I was just like, that is such bullshit because when I started on TikTok, I got like average 2,000 views on my first like 30 posts.
Yeah.
And I had to really fight. Like, I had to kick and scream and toil and fight the TikTok algorithm to show me to anyone. And I had to study like I had to study key and I even did like one of my first jobs was search engine optimization. I understand keyword optimization. I understand how to strategically do on-screen text, hashtags, descriptions, even metadata for these TikToks to optimize. And and then I realized that okay, if my YouTube clips don't work on TikTok, then I'm gonna have to make TikTok original content. So I had to not only make YouTube original content, but I had to make TikTok original content, which increased my workload by like double.
Yeah.
And doing all this stuff for 6 months straight, I haven't had any free time since June. And that was because I was recording gameplay footage for my videos. So I did a little bit of gaming to record footage. But it's like I have sacrificed everything. I don't have any fun. I don't enjoy myself at all. All I do is work. I have no social life. I have no free time, no hobbies, nothing but work on the business, YouTube and TikTok, and eating dinner and sleeping. So when I saw that, like I have not had good luck in my life, except for that one time I got the job out of college. So to see this guy just immediately just waltz right in, and on top of it, he's 21 years old. So it's like 8 years younger than me. I already have a serious problem with when YouTubers say their age. Like when I watch YouTubers and they say, "Oh, I'm 25," like I watched this guy called Gideon. He does the predator catching. There's another
Yeah.
guy called Tyler Oliveira. He's like an independent journalist. I didn't know how old they were. And then one day he says, Tyler Oliveira says he's born in the year 2000. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Gets a million views a video. And then the other guy, Gideon, said he was 25. And I'm just like, oh, like I can't watch his videos anymore. I avoid
Really?
both of them now. And that was before I even heard about this other guy. But it's like those giant YouTubers, they actually don't bother me as much as someone who is doing the exact same niche as me, who started
Yeah.
after me, making similar videos. And it just makes me think like, am I just really unlucky or am I just like incompetent and not as good? Because one of the things is like I wanted to have a purpose in life with the whole hemp thing, and because it's so expensive and nothing in my life has panned out, I felt like okay, this YouTube channel is going to be my purpose in life at least for the time being. And I
Yeah.
told myself if this YouTube channel succeeds, and if it earns me an extra $1,000 a month by the 1 year like maybe 2 year mark, like if after a year I'm earning 400 a month, then that would be like enough to justify keep doing this. And
Yeah.
so it's like I thought I had a purpose in life doing this channel and I was really excited. And but then when I see someone else doing the same thing, I just kind of felt like I was being replaced. Like I don't have a purpose anymore. I'm redundant. somebody younger is taking over the taking the torch from me. And the Zoomers that watch this shit, because it's mostly like I'm a zillennial, but it's
Yeah.
mostly like the peak of Gen Z that's watching this type of content, and they are really fluent in this like black pill lingo of I know all the words. I'm just not good at, I don't know if it's the ADHD or what, but I'm not good at using the jargon fluently while I'm speaking. And I sometimes I wonder if like I'm not connecting with the younger generation well enough, and like I don't have the charisma, like I don't have that riz, you know, because
There
I
you go.
need to.
That was doing it. Using
Yeah,
that
well,
slang.
I think about that a lot though. Like that's a word that comes to my mind a lot because I wonder
Yeah.
if that's what the problem is. Because a lot of these other guys, they speak off the cuff. They're like impromptu saying things, kind of like I am here. But for some reason, when I sit down to record a video, I'm not as good at doing this, and I get off topic. I go on these, like, even with if I take the ADHD medication, I go on tangents. I forget what I'm saying, forget the words. I have to pause for 30 seconds. I get anxiety, and then I forget what I have to think about what my next sentence is going to be. And I end up recording for like 2 hours straight and having to edit it down to like 25 minutes, which takes so damn long.
Yeah.
And these other guys, they're just rambling off without any problem. And I just wonder, like, is that the problem, or did I just get unlucky? Are my videos actually good, or are they not good? Because I have these trolls telling me that they're, everything that's wrong with me. Got all these people trying to give unsolicited advice, telling me
Yeah.
you need to do this, you need to change this, you need to be more like him, you need to make tier list videos, you need to use more memes, use more jargon. And I came to this conclusion that, like, if I try to, like, imitate somebody, like some younger person's style, I'm gonna end up being like the meme of Steve Buscemi with the skateboard that I posted on my community tab the other day. Some old man trying too hard to be hip, and it's gonna be cringe and forced, and it's just not gonna work. So
Yeah.
that's so I talked to my therapist about that, and we came to that conclusion that I should just stick to who I am, stay true to myself. But I am going to make some changes to my videos because I saw another channel that started 3 months after me, who's already getting like 35,000 views on every video, talking about very similar things, but not specifically short guy stuff. But I don't have
Yeah.
to talk only about short guy stuff. Like that could be part of it, but not always. But it's like I need to do more impromptu style, like, rants rather than really like intense storytelling, because I really focus on the intensity of a story, telling stories,
That's
which
what
is what I
somebody
learned. Huh?
sorry, go. That's what
No.
somebody in chat just said. They said, I think if Chadlet would just record a 2 hour schizo rant, his viewer count and sub count would go up. People want raw and authentic.
Well, I recorded a 50-minute um thing like that. Actually, that was like an experiment last week because there was this Snooks guy. He's like a YouTuber who just came out of nowhere and got 450,000 views.
Oh my god.
Made this video where he was just talking to the screen with really poor lighting, a shitty thumbnail, but he had a good title. It was um, "How I Woke Up as a 35-Year-Old Loser and How to Avoid It."
I think I saw that in my algorithm.
You
Yeah.
should watch it; it's good. Um, and like I watched that, and I was like, "Damn, this guy really didn't have to do that much work to make this video. I could do that." Like, so I tried doing it. And the funny thing is there's this other channel that's a lot like mine called Loser Maxing, who actually was one of my inspirations. But he's a tall guy. Um, but he just thinks that he's super ugly, which I don't really think he is. but he decided he had the same exact idea as me, like at the same time, and he posted his video 10 hours before mine. Literally like the same kind of video. And I was just like, damn, if only I was the one who posted it 10 hours before.
Yeah.
But we have about the same amount of views on each of ours. It's approaching 7,000. Um, but like that's that's pretty good for me. That's my top three, like in my top three performing videos. But um, when I see these other guys popping up out of nowhere, they're much younger, that are just like waltzing right into success. It no longer feels um like an accomplishment anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're like comparing it to all these other people, and then it's like, oh, I got 11,000 on that video, but this guy got 300,000. Like
Yeah.
eleven
Well,
thousand doesn't feel like so many anymore.
nobody in my niche gets 300,000 though, like that. Like it would be a miracle if if I copied Snooks and got that many views. Like I didn't expect to.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just like he was the first guy to do it, and all the copycats are just kind of like people have had their fill. And I like so but it was I mean he's because he's older than me, I don't feel the envy because I don't want to be 35. I'm terrified of aging. And when someone who's that age succeeds at something, I feel like actually like they deserve it, especially if they've suffered and struggled and stuff for a long
Yeah.
time. I've got a lot of respect for people that are older than me, and a lot less. I mean, I still respect people that are younger than me, but if they are gonna waltz right past me at the same exact thing I'm trying to do
It pisses you
without
off.
doing as much work, yeah, it does. I feel like if I've had to claw my way up, like they should too, But I've had a lot of people. I've had a lot of people say to be supportive and say that my content is great, and they like they like me the way I am, and that I should keep going. But then I have a lot of people that say that the fact that I talk about tall women and wanting to be dominated and how it helped me, cope with this, and they it makes them uncomfortable and like disturbed.
They're just not
And
ready for the truth.
yeah, some people say that, but it's like if most people are like uncomfortable with it, then it's not going to help. But at the same time, it literally is a major defining, like character defining part of my life that
Yeah.
saved me from wanting to like be over. The term they call it on TikTok is rope maxing. I
Yeah.
think that's pretty safe to say. But yeah, all these other guys, they want to get like leg lengthening surgery and stuff. And I made a video about that. I wouldn't want leg lengthening surgery for multiple reasons, but mostly because I like being short now. But very few people can relate to liking being short.
Yeah.
Um, when I started this channel, I was kind of under the impression that like I could be somewhat of like a freak show, sort of.
Like a
Um,
lolcow, kinda.
yeah, like I really am into that kind of content. I have been for a long time. Like I really liked King Cobra JFS. Sorry, my hair is so like being weird. I just got a haircut yesterday.
Hmm.
Um, King
It looks
Cobra
good.
JFS, he died a few weeks ago. Remember? Do you know him?
I
You know of him?
He's like a Viner, or if he's
No,
not on,
no. He
I
he's
don't think I know him.
the sexy goth cowboy from Wyoming who's obsessed with king like cobras and the color green, and he dresses like a mix between a goth and a cowboy, and he did drink mixes and food hacks, and he did these long live streams where he would get drunk and fall asleep in a chair. He reminded me a lot of my dad. He
Yeah.
was a lot like my dad, but yeah, he died at the age of 34, literally the same weekend that my nana had the stroke. And and he was a big inspiration because by becoming this big joke online, he was able to build this wand business on Etsy where he makes magic wands and sell each one for $666 each. And
Oh
every time he came
my.
out with a batch of wands, they would sell out instantly. And he made enough money to live off of as an autistic person. And I was just like so impressed, and I was kind of jealous, and I was like, if I could make myself into a character like that too, not a fake one though, like, because I really am a freak. Um,
Yeah.
so it's like I could do that, and I'm really good with business. I went to school for it. I have experience with it. I could monetize things far more effectively than someone like him or someone like Chris Chan. Of course, I could never be as interesting as Chris Chan,
Yeah.
but
Were you a big
yeah.
Chris Chan follower?
I mean, I didn't even know about him until the Geno Samuel documentary.
Not
Um,
to be too woke, but I'm pretty sure Chris Chan uses she her pronouns. Just saying. I'm just saying.
Oh, so I forgot. I just I think of her as the person
Yeah,
that I
yeah, yeah.
saw in the beginning of the documentary. Because as time went by, I kind of like I watched like 60 of them, and I was just like, I just started to get a little bit bored with it because things stopped being as intense
Yeah.
after a while. But yeah, I those people are kind of like, I don't see them as pathetic or um like, I don't see their lives as bad because it's like a new frontier of entrepreneurship almost.
Yeah,
And
in the attention economy. I agree. I agree. It's like
yeah,
this new
so
meta of the way that we interact as people. Like socialization is just entirely different. I agree. I agree.
yeah, so it's like I had this idea that okay, I'm very weird. I like I have these crazy stories. Um I like being short. Um all the different things I've explained to you here and more.
Yeah.
And I dress as a cat boy sometimes. I don't know if you see my cat boy stuff. Have you?
Okay, Nick Fuentes. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Does he do cat boy?
He used to, I think.
Oh. Huh.
And now people make fun of him because he's like, I don't know, a nationalist or whatever.
Yeah, well, I embrace I embrace it. If you really embrace something and don't try and sweep it under the rug and say like, yeah, yeah, I was a yeah, I'm like a cat boy and I want to be dominated by a tall, powerful woman, what of it? That's the way I've always been.
That's
But
empowering. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it is. But not like some people respect it, but not everyone likes it. But it's like the catboy thing, the domination thing. I thought I had this idea in my mind that I would be like shared all over the place, and people would be like, "This guy's crazy,"
Passed
you
around.
know?
Oh, no. That's what you mean.
Yeah,
Like
like this
shared
is
on
the
the internet. Yeah.
yeah, like this guy's the freak show this guy's the new freak. Let's all, start. And I thought I was gonna be. I was hoping that like some YouTubers and a couple of YouTubers have talked about me, but I wanted like I want to be in one of those compilations,
Yeah.
where they talk about weird, like degenerate, messed up people, like demented people on the internet that are freaks. And
And you
I was
want to
like,
be seen
okay.
this way? Or
I
is it
mean, well,
just to like
it's
get the
one of
eyes on your business?
Kinda, yeah. Well, it's like I want to get eyes on my business. I want to get eyes on my channel, and I want to be able to spread my message, my social message as well, for to make an impact on the thoughts and minds of future generations. And it doesn't have to be huge. Like I just want to have like moderate enough success where I can actually maybe live on my own and be self-employed with a combination of money earned from sales and ad revenue and stuff like that. And so that I can like, because I know I have a lot of respect for people that work 9 to 5 jobs and stuff that help keep the society and civilization going. But
Yeah.
I don't, after what I experienced, Um, basically, I don't want to be in that position again. I want to have a bigger purpose. I want to feel independent. Um, and by the way, is this live stream? Are people able to access it on your YouTube right now?
Yeah, yeah. I sent you
So
the links.
okay, so I my friend, I forgot to tell her that this was happening. Um, if I scroll down for the text app, will that like close this and I'll no longer like it'll
I think it'll close your video for a second, but I don't think it'll like close the. I don't think it'll
okay.
disconnect. You'll just be like,
If
I won't have
so,
your camera for a second. You
do
feel
you
free. Go
need to
ahead.
do you need to take
Take a
a
second.
bathroom break or something? Because if you do, this would be a good time.
Do you need to take a bathroom break?
Not really, but I could just text her real quick.
Yeah, yeah. Text her. Text her. Take a
Okay.
second. Let me look in chat. Oh, they want to know how
Yeah.
much you weigh.
Okay. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I hear you. Your camera's actually still on. I thought it was gonna disconnect, but it
Oh,
didn't. I can turn it off if you want. You're
no,
just like it's just your face from below.
it's fine. I'm just texting her right now. I'll answer the question in a sec.
Yeah, yeah. Take your time. So, somebody said you're gonna go number two in a bush. It's tyrannical arachnid. He said
I
that
know him.
you. Yeah, he said you would know his name.
Yeah,
And the Nolander
the
also
Nolander.
said that they're here.
Oh well, thank you. Hi, thanks for joining. I texted her. I feel bad. She's probably gonna miss it. Um.
It'll be here
So,
after too. So
huh? Oh, it'll
I
be
said,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
She likes to
So,
participate in the chat too.
oh yeah, yeah,
She's the one
yeah,
I told you about who's like 6 feet tall from across the country.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So they asked about my weight. I'm like 140 right now. I kind of feel
That,
like I need to lose some weight. Um,
good job, chat. They
like
they they got it. They were like 130 to 140 is was their
that's cool.
guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I was 19, I really like got an eating disorder, I think, and I starved myself to try and lose the muscle as quickly as possible because
Yeah.
I was like still buff from all the gym maxing, and what
And you
happened
didn't want
was
to be buff. You just wanted to be
no,
like small and submissive.
I
Yeah.
didn't. And it's like you should have seen my face back then. It was so gaunt. Um, and I was like losing my mind because I was stoned all the time. And I have this picture of myself where I'm all super up close to the camera like this, and my cheeks are all sunken in and like my eyes are sunken in and I've got like tears streaming down my face. It's a crazy picture. And I was 125 at that point. And like I kind of would like to be that weight again. Um, I think I could do it now without being as anorexic because I have less muscle now because it's been like 10 years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, I weighed like 140, 148 or something like 8 months ago. And the BMI at the doctor's office said I was slightly overweight. And
Hmm.
I was like, there's no way I'm slightly overweight. Like I'm not fat. And
Yeah.
then I started doing the looks maxing stuff on TikTok and seeing all these looks maxers, and that was one of my first videos was looks maxing TikTok destroyed my self-image in 1 week. And it did.
Yeah.
It was like so brutal. And like people were commenting and saying, you're not a pretty boy. Where is this pretty boy that you speak of? Everybody's saying that my cheeks were so puffy and all this stuff. So it really motivated me to lose weight again. And I did. Like I lost like 13 pounds or something in a couple months. But now I've gained back like 5 pounds in the last couple months because, or like the last month, because I'm just so depressed. I'm eating like bucket list foods because I'm just thinking like, might as well spend my money now because I'm not going to need it where I'm going. That kind of thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, you did mention that you've been a lot more depressed in the past few months, right?
Yeah, and in fact, the last couple it's actually the last 3 weeks that it's been worse than it's been in a very long time. But for some reason, like I'm able to like the medication helps a lot. The ADHD medication really helps a lot.
Yeah.
Even though like it's never happened before, but last week even with the medication and a decent night's rest, I was so depressed that I still couldn't get out of bed for like an hour and a half after I was supposed to get up.
Yeah.
So the depression is getting worse, and I don't want to take antidepressants. But it's like the other day, I was so upset because that first YouTuber I told you about, the one who got 16,000 on his first one, I was that's another thing that happened that drove me even further down. I was trying to get away from that because after I saw how many views he got and all this stuff, I crashed out. I posted a bunch of crazy TikTok stories, just exposing my deepest, darkest pathological problems. And had a lot of people that were really supportive and nice, and a lot of people that um, like really were cruel. But at the same, I was trying to capitalize on my crazy emotions to try
Yeah.
and entertain people in a way, while also being open and validating the feelings of others who have gone through something similar and are too embarrassed to talk about it. Because
Yeah.
I have no shame. And so I talked to this one guy about it. He's like 18 years old and kind of immature and doesn't really know like socially what to say. So I told him, I bet he has like 30,000 views on that video by now. And I was like, but I don't even want to know. And then he goes and checks his page and then comes back and tells me how many views he had. And I was like, bro, I told you I didn't want to know. But he
He's
had
literally doing the
21.
take the L dance on you. What the hell?
I don't think he meant it, but like, because I called him out for it and he apologized, but like he was supportive emotionally for the most part. But yeah, I learned that he he had 21,000. What I think happened is because he went viral on TikTok, um, so many of those people went over to his YouTube that it unnaturally swelled up the views for his first video, and that makes sense. Um, so I tried to copy him, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try posting another clip from my videos on TikTok and see if I can replicate it. And it was like the
Yeah.
worst performing video I've had in many months. And I was like, oh well, I guess it doesn't work when I do it. Um, but yeah, he told me that, and then for like that night I crashed out again, and then a couple days later I was feeling a little bit better, so I'm able to like recover emotionally by distracting myself for enough time. But
Yeah.
then the universe wants to bring me back into it.
It just throws it back in your face over and over
Yeah,
and
like
over.
rubs it in my face. What happened was I was watching a video by this one YouTuber. He's this Asian guy from San Francisco, and he's like he makes content about like Gen Z like life experiences. And even though I'm a millennial, I identify way more with Gen Z. Um,
Yeah.
but it's like so I like his videos. He was talking about like how TV shows and movies and the media like portray a lifestyle of people in their late 20s that is totally unrealistic and gives people false expectations and makes us feel all inferior about our accomplishments in life. I really could relate to that. But then for some reason he started talking about height pill, which is the that's what I do is height pill content.
It's your specialty. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, what the hell does this have to do with anything? And I was just so shocked. and he was talking about how it's like, I'm 6'1" and now I'm insecure about my height. And he started
They're
showing me
literally, oh
clip.
my God. Like they're
Yeah.
just like dancing. Jesus.
Well, I mean, he doesn't know about me. Like
No, but the
he's a
algorithm was like, you need this. You need to
yeah,
see this.
but it was so I didn't think that it was going to talk about that at all because to me it was going to be about something else, and it was about something else for the most part, but that one segment. And like, so he starts talking about it, and I'm just like, okay. And then all of a sudden I see this clip from that one guy's TikTok, the one that got 220,000 views. And I was like, at first I was like, there's no way that this guy, after being on TikTok for 2 weeks, is now being featured in a video with 300,000 subscribers, that has 50,000 views in 10 hours. And then I looked at the watermark and it's like, yep, that's his name. And I just lost it. Like I jumped into bed and wept and turned the video off and cursed God and recorded a bunch of TikTok stories and um, like wrote a bunch of crazy stuff and posted it and um, got a lot of pushback and not as much support that time because I think that was the second time I had freaked out about it, and like I guess people were burned out on it. But it's like I was trying my best to get away from it and like not think about it,
Yeah.
and the universe shoved it back in my face, and I couldn't help it. Like I have this pathological problem with envy that I think I'm going to make a video about at some point because it all started when I was like 9 years old. Um, and it started with envy of kids that had wealthier families who go on vacations all the time. Then it moved on to like envy of guys that have girlfriends, and it moved on to height envy, and now it's made a full circle back to like money and accomplishments. It's
Yeah.
everything's about accomplishments now, especially since women in my age group expect a man to have achieved a certain level of success by this age. And if you
Yeah.
haven't, you're just a loser. So that's why I call myself a loser all the time. And um, on my Instagram though, my business Instagram, a lot of people think I'm not a loser. I actually have quite a few um girls that watch my stories. Like it's mostly women, and they're deeply surprised like when I say that I'm a loser or like that I'm not successful. Because apparently I seem like I'm successful, but I've started to go out of my way to share the downsides, to share the negative events as well as the positive. And
Yeah.
some people reject me for it. Like this one guy that I know, he's like this 50-year-old OG old head cannabis guy. And we were really good friends for a long time. And then he said, he's like, I can't watch your stories anymore. All you do is bitch. Um, Nobody wants to hear that shit. You don't know how to advertise for your business properly. And he just gave me this like essay of just criticism and unsolicited advice. And I explained to him that I'm trying to help people's mental health as well as my own by portraying both the good and the bad. And it's entertaining to see a roller coaster of progress in an entrepreneurship story. And like to make people feel like when they're comparing with someone on social media, that they don't feel inadequate because they're getting an inaccurate picture.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to
Bo-
listen to any of that.
boomers are
He
gonna boom. What can you say?
Yeah, it's like I didn't really expect that from him because he had been pretty cool about it for years up to that point. I guess one day he just snapped. Um,
Yeah.
he's a lot like my dad. Like I think my dad's the same way. Um, but yeah, you see a lot of brands now and stuff using alternative marketing methods, and building a character, like a relationship with you as an independent character in your like
Yeah.
your business as a person. That's what I want to do. I want to build a personal brand. This channel, my business, it's all a personal brand where it's a relationship with a human being rather than a faceless business or channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That definitely makes sense. I did have a question. Well, like when you were
Hmm.
talking, and you had mentioned like p pathology, right? I guess I was curious if you identify with any like personality disorders or like mood. Like, do you identify with any of these like psychological conditions? I know that's like contentious. Some people are like, I don't believe in personality disorders, blah
I
blah.
do. I do.
Okay, so like, do you identify with any of them?
Well, the problem is that some of them come with some pretty serious stigma.
Well,
Um,
yeah.
well, I'm gonna try and like say it in a
Okay,
way
thank
that
you.
doesn't
Yeah, yeah.
make me feel like, because I don't like, I know that there's certain type of people that people really hate, and I've encountered those type of people that um that and I understand fully. Like
Yeah.
for example, I when I was working in this startup business, everybody was like a narcissistic psychopath. Everybody.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it at first. And I thought, everything was chill and they would smile and be nice to me. And I was just like, okay, everything's good. And then they would make up stories about me to my manager, or just try to make me look bad or sabotage in some way. And then I realized that these people are two-faced um, bastards. And then that's when I started watching Dr. Todd Grande. And I know he's not a real doctor, but I have you watched his videos?
I haven't watched him. I watched this other guy who's like not a real doctor who talks about narcissism, and
Is he,
his name escapes me at the
is he the
moment, but
Indian
like
guy?
he's a white guy. And
He
then
might be.
There's this Indian lady I watch sometimes. She talks about
Yeah,
like
that's
family
Dr.
relationships. Yeah.
Dr. Ramani.
Yeah,
Dr. Ramani.
her.
I've watched the hell out of her, and talked to Todd Grande to the point where I downloaded like all of his videos so that I could try and deal with and cope with these people at my job. So it was just so like overwhelming, and I felt so alone. And I
Yeah.
had all these problems psychologically I needed to work through, but with my therapy, I only ever had time to deal with whatever disaster occurred at work that week because it was just so bad.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I dealt with a lot of those people, and then I learned about the difference between a grandiose narcissist and a vulnerable or covert narcissist. And I think a lot of people think that covert and vulnerable is the same, but it's like what happens is you have this grand view of yourself and who you are going to be in your life, and to have this greater purpose, and like that there's this grand universe plan. And I think a lot of it was fed by a lot of the psychedelic journeys I went on as a teenager. I took that stuff, various types of those types of things, like maybe 70 times over the course of a few years, starting when I was
Yeah.
14. And it really shaped me because I was into reading like philosophy books, and like all these different religions, and I was like way ahead of everybody else in that whole realm. Like everybody else I knew got into all that spiritual philosophy stuff in their 20s, and I was doing it when I was in my mid-teens. And like I just felt like I had these visions and these communications with a higher power that was like telling me like humanity, like you are meant to help guide humanity into a brighter future. And and we're, this plan that we have together with hemp and everything, it's going to be it's going to reduce the suffering for future generations. And it's
Yeah.
like, so it gave me this grand vision of who I could be in my life. And that's a big part of grandiosity. And and it kind of like culminated in all these different things that I'm saying right now. And what a vulnerable or covert narcissist is I mean, you probably already know this, but I've got a really deep understanding of it. It's when someone who was grandiose fails to meet their own expectations, and their self-esteem completely plummets, and they go from one extreme to the other. And that comes along with extreme envy and comparison, and the need for validation, and like emotional support and stuff like that. So basically, like, sometimes I see myself in that description of like somebody who had a really high hopes for my life and failed to come anywhere close, especially after all those spiritual journeys I went on, and especially on the ship. I didn't really go into detail about what happened on the ship, but I saw like incredible things in the ocean that were life changing. And I felt like I was being spoken to by the ocean.
Like,
And like,
what do you mean?
so I'll just say it, like there were, it was like an undead, like an endless army of undead that made up the waves. It was like, you know how, when you got all these waves and stuff, it's kind of like a gray ocean and it's reflecting the sky and there are all these
Yeah.
reflections. So I stood out there above the captain's quarters, basically like meditating, staring at one spot directly ahead, with looking at the ocean for literally 5 hours straight, and I didn't move. And like it was so, like I got so focused on the clouds, the water, the currents, the ships in the distance, and I was started to see skeletons in the water, but they had like different armor on. Some of them had like rusty, shoddy armor. Um, some of them were like pretty unarmed armored. It's like a medieval army, but it was
Yeah.
very unorganized. And some of them were dressed like samurai. Some of them were dressed like European knights with armor. Some had chainmail. Some had um, like, what do they call it? Chariots. Some had simple chariots, like those old fashioned Celtic ones that just have two wheels. Others had gigantic chariots that were long and had many wheels, and they were intricately designed. And it was all grayscale because the ocean was like grayish,
Yeah.
all grayscale, the most intricate designs you could imagine. And they were all clambering over each other to try and reach the sky. And some of them did reach the sky. The ones who did reach the sky were the kings with their crowns on horseback, with their intricate samurai armor, or the ones with the largest um, carriages, and 50 undead horses guiding them. And I would see, like, basically when you're looking at the ocean regularly, you might see this mist between a cloud and the sky. And sometimes that's evaporation and sometimes it's falling. And I was able to, by focusing, be able to tell which was evaporation and which was falling. And it was manifesting in these different figures, either rising or falling. And I would see how in the sky, so in the ocean, it was like billions of beings, but the sky only had a handful. And the ones in the
Yeah.
sky took up large portions of the sky. They were the clouds. They moved with the wind. And by seeing all this stuff, I was actually able to like predict the weather. I was able to say, okay, that cloud is going to be over here. That part of the ocean is going to be over here. The current's going to move. And it literally, I was able to accurately predict these things multiple times because of how like clear all this stuff was. And these beings in the sky, it's all an allegory. Basically, like we as human beings, if you live in if you believe in reincarnation, we're all like trying to climb over each other to reach these higher levels, to reach the sky. Basically, like maybe achieve enlightenment, maybe if in the world achieve levels of status or leadership. And there isn't enough room in the sky for everyone. And the ones that do reach the sky, they're like godlike beings that take up all this space. But within a couple hours, you would see the same same being that transcended from the bottom, from the ocean into the sky, fall back down. And when they fell back down, they took the form of the lowliest soldier once again. And it was just this like you're going through this pointless cycle of trying to reach a higher state, and it takes so long and it's so much suffering and hardship to reach that level. And when you finally do, it only lasts a little bit of time and then you go back down. What's the point of all that? And so I heard the ocean say to me that, like, basically saying, this is the sea of lost souls and we're trapped. We're trapped. Help us.
Yeah.
And it was just so intense. And I was like, that's how I feel living in this world. Um, like, if I'm afraid of reincarnation, I don't want to keep living over and
Yeah.
over again. And they're like, we're spirits that are trapped in this cycle, and we want to be freed. And they said, we believe that you can be the one to 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 free us from our bondage one day, and that we can finally be at peace. And I was like, yes, absolutely, because I feel the same way. And it was so weird because while that was all happening, this older Asian woman came and stood right next to me and didn't say anything. And she stood there for 20 minutes, and I was just completely still, and I didn't want to break my focus.
Yeah.
And I felt like she knew something was happening. And I just wonder if she was Korean, because I hear that the Koreans have um they have ocean shamans that guide ships, that
Really?
are, yeah, they have them, like, it's a tradition to help them, like, predict the weather and prevent disasters and stuff like that. And it almost felt like I was doing that on that day. And after that experience, it, like, changed my life. But you have enough experiences like that, and you start to think that there's something greater going on. So when life starts to really disappoint and lead to like, I've just put my all into everything, 150%, and I sacrifice so much because I see my life as a sacrifice, and I want to have a greater impact and purpose. And and you just work yourself to the point of burnout, and then just feel like, okay, I guess that was all just one big delusion, and I'm just a fool, and my life has no purpose. And yeah, so I don't want to believe that, but that's kind of where the whole narcissism thing comes in, because that's very similar to what I learned about that, where they have this grandiose vision of themselves, and if they are able to live up to that vision, they they become arrogant assholes.
Like the people in the sky.
May,
To
maybe
tie it back to like
that could be
your allegory.
part of it. I didn't think of that. Um, but like, yeah, I guess so. But at the same, to me, I saw that whole thing as an allegory for reincarnation.
Yeah.
You know, because and the pursuit of enlightenment. Because I was obsessed with enlightenment as a teenager,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
I came to this conclusion after years of study that enlightenment is impossible because the universe is infinite and wisdom is infinite, and there's no point where you will reach perfect wisdom, because it's impossible to
Yeah.
match with what what a lot of people call God, which I see as the totality of all things, past, present, and future, forever and ever, you know, at the same time. It's just, it contains everything. There's no way that any limited being could ever come close to that. So it's like I stopped pursuing enlightenment because it's an impossibility. And to me, that was a form of enlightenment. A lot of people might disagree, but realizing that there is no end destination for that
Yeah.
is a form of enlightenment in itself. but it didn't make me feel any better. I came to the conclusion that that enlightenment is actually comes with suffering and darkness and a deep abyss of depression, because it's like a dark enlightenment. It's a realization that about how horrible things really are, instead of living on, in denial about it, actually um accepting that. And that's kind of what the black pill is. It's the dark enlightenment.
Yeah.
um no longer living in denial. And that's a big thing about part of what I do with my channel. But it's like I still hold on to this hope that I can have a greater purpose. And if life gets too hard to handle, I can write a book or something, and just once I finish all my videos to and say everything I need to say, and I write whatever I need to write to leave behind, I will be able to go to the grave satisfied. But
Yeah.
a lot of things could change between then and now, but at least I can know that I had some kind of impact.
Yeah.
But yeah, pathologically, it's like, a failed narcissist becomes a vulnerable narcissist who is constantly comparing themselves and feeling very envious, and has these like passive aggressive tendencies, and is kind of needy and stuff. But I really try to be I try to be a good friend and not be
Yeah.
needy, and be like polite and friendly, and I smile at people and greet people, hold doors open, um be act like a small town sort of friendly type of person, like hospitality. And my friend that I've been talking to this one woman for the last 4 years, long distance, and we had like an on and off relationship, and she never came to see me. It made me really sad, but um, she is really aware of all this stuff, and like I kind of had a conversation about this with her, and she said that she can tell that I'm not a bad person, so that's good.
Yeah. So just to clarify it in my head, do you think you went from what are the types of narcissists again? There's vulnerable, covert, and what was the like
There's grandiose,
grandiose?
then there's vulnerable and covert. I don't see myself as covert, because covert people try and like sabotage others,
Yeah.
and I don't do that. Um, but then there's people that say that they're the one and the same. Covert and vulnerable is the same. So it's like it's an ongoing debate. And those covert people were the types that were really, really bothersome at the job that I went to. This
Yeah.
one this one girl, she was really, really, I really admired her. Like, she had a really cool position. She was 29 when I was 23. And I worked with her in like a project group, and we did some incredible things to like build that company up. We built a company-wide enterprise resource planning system from seed to sale, they call it. And it was so amazing. I put it on my resume. Not that I ever needed the resume again anyway, but like it was an incredible thing. And then I took on the job of handling the sales segment of it, as far as order management and entry and reporting and stuff goes. And she would always like she'd tell people that I was being negligent and fucking this up and fucking that up and not doing my job right. And I was just actually just going like way above and beyond to try and do as much as I possibly could to
Yeah.
make people believe in me. And that's what a covert person does. So I'm not like that. But I
Yeah.
definitely am very sensitive to feeling to comparison. And one of the big flaws is not being able to feel happy for people that have things you don't. That's
Yeah.
the big thing that is my issue, that it somehow seems like other people don't have that issue as much. But maybe they're lying. I don't know. Maybe I'm just really honest. but I can't. I the way my life is gone, I can't feel happy for somebody younger than me who's achieving what I wish I could have. Maybe they find a tall girlfriend that I wish I had. Maybe they're, you know, like maybe they achieve things on their YouTube channel, like those other guys I talked about. Like a lot of other people would just be like, "Yeah, I'm happy for you," but I just wonder how. Like,
Yeah.
are you really being serious? Like, because I can't unless I'm feeling good about what I'm doing. I can't really honestly say that I feel that way.
Do you lie to people and say that you feel that way for them? Like just for the social lubrication of it?
And I generally avoid putting myself in a position where I have to lie about that.
That's fair.
And
Yeah.
yeah, but it's like I'll be honest, like I when that happened and I first crashed out, I knew the guy was watching my TikTok stories and I just didn't
Yeah.
care. And I actually said some mean things. I was like, my video, I put way more effort in my videos than this. Like this guy, I've got all these years of experience. I'm way older. My thumbnails are better. My storytelling is better. I put all this thought into strategies and all this shit. Like that should be me with that success. Like aren't I an interesting person? Don't I deserve that kind of success, especially after as much as I've suffered and gone through in my life? Like for someone and like regular people can relate to those feelings too, but like I just I knew he was seeing it and I just didn't care. And I talked to some other people about it, and they were like, especially like Christians and stuff. I grew up Christian. I'm not really
Yeah.
religious anymore, but they are very judgmental about that and say, "Yeah, you should feel happy for them. What's wrong with you?" And I ended up talking to the guy over DMs because he
Mm-hmm.
was like, "All right, I don't want to have beef with you, bro." And what I basically did was I sent him a bunch of voice messages explaining how this whole situation makes me feel. I didn't accuse him of anything. I didn't say he was bad. I actually said that his content was good because I think it actually is.
Yeah.
I was just really mad at first, and I said, You didn't do anything wrong. I just feel this way about it because I can't help myself, and things have been really hard." And he totally understood. And I told him I was going to make a video like responding to this drama situation because I want to make the best of it, and this is what's fully on my mind right now. I don't feel like making a video about anything else. And
Yeah.
he said, "All right, well, if you criticize me heavily, I'm going to have to respond." And I was like, "No, bro, I'm not. I'm only going to say a little bit about what you said about me. The rest of it is just going to be talking about how I feel about it."
Yeah.
And the video was received well. It didn't get that many views, but it had like record engagement and like 98% like rate, which was very unexpected. And I
Yeah.
guess I was just able to present it in a way that was more relatable or something. I don't know.
Did he engage with it?
He didn't leave any comments, and I don't know if he responded. I avoid looking at his channel,
That's
so I have
fair.
no
Yeah, yeah.
idea. But it's like I think if he did respond, somebody would have sent it to me.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, because I barely said anything. I literally said that his content was good, and that I just feel like I'm inadequate, and there must be something about the way I do things that's just not as good. And I've been
Yeah.
really, really thinking about it the last few days, and I think I've come to a conclusion about what I can change because I don't want to change. I don't want to change who I am as a character. I don't want to stop talking about tall women that I like. I don't want to stop I don't want to stop mentioning my alternative like sexuality and how
Lifestyle.
it helps
Yeah.
me and like what makes me unique as a character. But but I do need to change something. And I think it's the structure of my videos. They're too structured. I think
Yeah.
it's a problem.
That's what people in chat were saying was that you just need to kind of go on rants and like let them, let people engage with it. Uh
Mhm.
what are you snacking on over there? Am I allowed to ask?
It's
What is that?
Mm,
Are you allowed to say it?
um, it's I don't know. It's an Indonesian tea. It's one of my
Oh,
products. It's one of my products. It's
interesting.
something that
Yeah.
you're only supposed to use if you're 21 or older in most states. 18 or no, 18 in most states, 21 in some, and
I understand.
It's banned in some states, but it's an Indonesian tea that's been used for hundreds of years, which really, in the grand scheme of things, isn't that long. But it helps me feel better, and I've been addicted to it for 5 years now, and I got off of it for 5 months, and my life was just so shitty. I was just like, why am I like people get addicted to antidepressants, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I should be able to use this, to make me feel. It's the only thing that makes life bearable.
Is it
Um,
like kratom or something?
yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I guessed it.
hmm And it's like,
Um,
yeah,
no, I was just curious. Earlier in chat, they were talking about 7OH, and you had mentioned it earlier as well. I'm curious, is that like kratom? Is that something
it's
different?
it's like the alkaloid in kratom that it's called 7-oxyhydrometragene. I know a lot about this stuff. 'Cause I deal with like lab tests and stuff like that. And it's the one that's like the downer, like sedative alkaloid that's heavily present in the red vein strains, which people use to treat pain and to go to sleep. And it's like really similar to opioids. And like the way, like for example, there's like 0.003 parts per million 7OH found in like regular kratom. And
Yeah,
then there's like there's like, maybe this is probably, I don't know a whole lot about 7OH because I don't like it, but I know it's anywhere from point one, or I think it's like 1 to 3 parts per million. I don't know, but that's like 1,000 times more, you know? So it's a
yeah,
1,000 times concentrated extraction of a specific alkaloid designed to like specifically mimic like um morphine or something. And it's really done a number on people's tolerances, and people would be like, okay, I can't go back to the normal stuff now because I tried this. And that's why the business took such a big hit in the last couple of years. And I
yeah,
had to switch over to um other I forgot what the name is, types of plant medicine. And I guess I could say like the other one. There's Blue Lotus. I sell Blue Lotus. I sell Skull Cap. Make my own glycerates, alcohol free tinctures. Um, and then I got dry powder extract of Blue Lotus. I sell capsules of different things, and like tea flowers, Blue Lotus tea flowers, blue lily flowers that are dried. They're very pretty. But yeah,
yeah,
I work with a bunch of shops in the area, and smoke shops and regular shops, and I've got a website and all this stuff. So um, yeah, the Blue Lotus has allowed me to keep in business because that's mostly what I sell now. And I also design my own tarot deck. It's I'm not going to say too much about it yet because I'm not ready to have people look it up and find it just yet. But
yeah,
it sells pretty good, and it's popular, and very proud of it. But it doesn't make a whole lot of money because I have to pay a lot for it in the first place.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's what's going on with that. I remember we were talking about something though,
Yeah,
like
I had a
like
question that I had. I was curious if you think that when do you think the switch between grandiose and vulnerable happened? Like, is that kind of what I'm hearing? Is you think you were grandiose
that's just
into
my
vulnerable?
that's just my theory. Like I'm trying. I don't want like to paint myself as something
No,
that's
no, no.
hated.
And we're not
Um,
doctors, and I'm not trying to stigmatize you. Just like
yeah,
in terms of like identifiers and like
yeah.
identity of patterns, behaviors, etc.
I think it was definitely in the last 2 years or so, because it really all started with like once the business started like stagnating and like not reaching my expectations. I started feeling like comparing myself to these people online, like younger people, YouTubers, people that have their, like, for example, you see a YouTuber that you like and you realize they're like 20 years old, and then they come out and say, "I'm starting a so and so brand of something," and then
Yeah.
immediately they just sell out like that. And it's just like, damn, if I would have made the YouTube channel first and then did the business, I'd be like so much better off than
Yeah.
doing the business. And that's, I talked about that in my long video, my 50-minute video. That was like my lesson to younger people that want to do entrepreneurship, is that marketing is the most important thing. And if you want to succeed in your business, you have to have an audience already, basically. And but at the same time, it's really hard to do the YouTube channel, and it was so hard to start the business up that I don't know if I'd even have time to do that. You know, to get all the permits, the licensing, the because I do things legit. Like I follow all the rules, and
Yeah.
with the government and taxes and everything. And taxes are very difficult, very, very difficult. Um, but yeah, all that's basically the last couple of years. I start seeing these younger people, you know, making money on YouTube or growing their Instagrams and then starting businesses, and just thinking, man, like I'm really inadequate. And when I talked about earlier, like with women, how I feel like if I was born a woman, I'd be way more successful with my business.
Yeah.
That plays into it too, because it's like I just envy anyone started at envy, like why I say it was only the last couple of years is it's like before that I had these really was really optimistic, you know. I felt
Yeah.
really excited, and like like the universe was going to open doors for me, and everything was just meant to be, and like I was following my destiny, and yes, those other people are doing those other things, but I have these goals that I'm going to go towards. And I just pictured myself by 30 like living on my own at the very least, you
Yeah.
know, making 60,000 a year. Even though that's not that much, it's not that much to ask, but
Yeah.
as a self-employed person, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So that's when it really started to happen. And I had a few bad experiences with this one person that I was on and off in the relationship with, and like long distance. And it made me like really go back into the whole narcissism like study,
Yeah.
and like try and figure out like what is wrong with this person. And as I was doing that, I started digging up all the information, and I was like starting to see myself a little bit in some of it. Yeah.
That definitely makes sense. Do you identify
Yeah.
with any other like pathologies or just kind of that one?
Definitely depression, ADHD. But that's not really those
Yeah,
aren't
yeah.
personality disorders. Can you name a few?
Well, you
See
mentioned
if I can.
anxiety. I guess
Yeah,
there's
that's
the
not.
other. Sorry.
No, sorry.
Oh, no, no.
Go on.
There's the other cluster Bs. There's
Yeah.
like BPD, HPD, ASPD. There's the cluster As and the cluster Cs. I think cluster A is anxiety related ones and cluster C is schizoid related ones.
Oh, there's this one called paranoid. Like I forgot what it was called. But
Paranoid personality disorder. And I got it backwards. Cluster A is schizoid paranoid personality disorder and schizotypal, and cluster C is the anxiety disorders.
so my mom has schizoaffective disorder, and it's the worst mental illness I've ever seen. It's like the level of like those homeless people in San Francisco that are, you know, screaming to themselves and have their pants
Yeah.
down and stuff. That was her. Like when I was a kid, she really, really traumatized me many times. Um, so that was my experience with my mom growing up. And but like I mentioned paranoid because it's like I thought about I'm pretty sure that one you see, like, danger in people and you see, um, like, everybody is trying to get you or something, or they're like, you don't trust anybody, and you
Yeah.
kind of create these scenarios in your head of what they're trying to do to sabotage you or whatever, and, that's, like I kind of felt like I identified with that a little bit, but I think as I learned more, I felt like I wasn't enough to identify fully.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and then I used to be so obsessed with this stuff. I knew all of them, but I don't know it. I don't know that many of them anymore. I don't remember. You
That's
seem to
okay.
know
I
more.
I was just curious. I'm just like vaguely I'm really interested in like psychology and like
Mhm.
all the brain stuff. So I just learned a lot about it. I like I told you I watched that Indian lady, Dr. Ramani, and then I not so much anymore, I guess. But there was like a couple years where like that was what I was consuming a lot of content about
Yeah, me
very
too.
frequently. Yeah,
I, yeah,
twins.
it's always whenever somebody comes into my life who really messes me up mentally that I end up getting really into that again.
Yeah.
Whether it's my dad or somebody else. Because one of the things that occurred with me is like breadcrumbing. You familiar with breadcrumbing? Yeah.
Yeah.
So like somebody gives you just enough like attention or positive like interaction to keep you around, and then the rest of it is like gaslighting and um denial and like mistreatment and just hypocrisy. Like imagine somebody like demanding that you never ever raise your voice, and then they raise their voice all the time and say horrible things and like minimize your pain, um and then deny it 3 weeks
Yeah.
later. Say, I never said that. You're making it up.
Yeah.
So I've encountered that.
We can move off the mental health stuff if you want to. Yeah, I just was curious.
Yeah, whatever, whatever you want to talk about. What time is it though?
Okay, it's 6 o'clock your time.
Oh, so
We can also wrap this up if you want to. We've been talking for
we
a long time.
we could, but I am pretty cold. But like I don't want to go if you have something else that you wanted to talk about before, like that we didn't get to talk about, you know? Is there
I asked
anything?
about gender dysphoria. Well, I indirectly I asked if you wanted to be trans, which you explained how you feel about your gender and you've explained
Mhm.
your relationship to the way that you feel at different times in your life. So you already answered the question even though I didn't ask it directly.
Mhm.
Um I wanted to ask about your life experiences, why you started making content. I wanted to ask about kind of what your upbringing was like what, ideological backgrounds you come from.
We didn't really go too
Um
far into that.
yeah, well, you told us a lot about growing up. I feel like.
Yeah, mostly teen stuff. Like when
Yeah.
I mentioned my mom, I mentioned that I uh grew up Christian. I had to go to church every Sunday because I grew up with my grandparents because my mom is messed up, my dad is messed up, and
Yeah.
they couldn't raise me. So um thank God for my grandparents. I would have been an orphan. And but yeah, they're real traditional type people, and traditional in punishment as well. I got physically punished and yelled at a lot and told to be a man and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
because I was a real sensitive kid, like I cried a lot, and I kind of blame the trauma with my mom because I was exposed to some horrible situations and terrifying scenarios where your own mother is acting like that she's possessed by Satan, and you're taught about Satan and all this stuff. So and she's literally
Yeah.
saying stuff about the devil and like
I bet that
painting
was really
crosses.
scary.
Yeah, and I had to live. I had to be in the room right next to her. In fact, I'm currently still in the room that I was in back then, and she's back living in the room that she was in back then.
Yeah.
So it's like my ability to walk down the hallway to the bathroom like is blocked by her door. Like my door is here, and this is the hallway. Her door's here, mine's here, and I had to walk by her door, and she would leave it open, and she'd be sitting there while I'm like 9 years old, and I'm too afraid to go to the bathroom, and like, and there was some really messed up situations, but it's like I was that's why I didn't get that much attention because she caused so many problems,
Yeah.
and but yeah, the Christianity thing, like I was full, like I went to Christian school, like I got sent to Christian elementary school. And it was awesome because it was like a family. We were like a family. There was only 70 kids. There was like 15 in every grade, maybe like 12 in every grade. It was like kindergarten to 6th grade. And um, they had us do Bible study. And then all the kids in our area would go to Bible camp, even the ones that didn't grow up Christian, because the Bible camp was the good one. It's like the
Yeah.
nice camp. So it's like I did that. I was great socially. I was like in elementary school by 6th grade, I was like the most popular kid in school.
Yeah.
Then move on to middle school. It's like I started from the bottom because I didn't know that many people. My best
Started from the
friend
bottom, now we're here. Sorry.
my best friend didn't he pretended he didn't know me. Like he was my best
Yeah.
friend, and the first day of 7th grade he was like, I don't know you.
He just
And
switched up on you like that?
yeah, I felt so betrayed. So I went and hung out with like the nerdy like kids at the bottom of the social ladder, like playing stupid games, like throwing like airplanes and shit. And everybody would point at those kids and be like, those are the uncool kids, blah. And I just went and hung out with them. And then like, but over time, I guess I was able to be really funny in class and made a lot of friends. And then I started hanging out with other people. So I kind of like climbed the social ladder. But then by 8th grade, that's when I started getting obsessed with girls, and it just destroyed me. And
Yeah.
like that's my story that I told in the video. The video that says she told the whole school I was a stalker. That's an interesting story. If anyone wants to watch that after this, I that's the one that I posted a few weeks ago. It's got two Wojaks in the thumbnail, but it's like after that, I was just depressed. I stopped being funny in class. I went from being the class clown to being like the kid who cried in school every day. I still had all my friends. They were all really supportive, and we still had a ton of fun. Um, but I was never the same. And then in high school, I was still every year, everywhere I went, I was just obsessed with some new girl and felt like I wasn't good enough for her. And and I started smoking weed and all this stuff. But it's like I was actually attractive when I was 14,
Yeah.
because when I was 13, I was chubby because I actually had it's really messed up from the age of like 8 to 13, I had developed this FETIS, that word.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And I didn't say the last letter, but I developed that about feeding myself. It was like a feeder thing.
Yeah.
And I was like into fat, and because I blame the precocious puberty. That was the early onset. I blame the precocious puberty because those thoughts had been in my mind since I was like really young.
Yeah.
And that's like not normal. Um, and that kind of led up to my obsession with women that like are very thick and curvaceous and heavy. And So I would see a woman like that or a girl like that in school, and they were very uncommon, and I would just like fixate on them. But because I had fed myself, because I to satiate my desires, I overate myself and I gained like a
Yeah.
bunch of weight and I became chubby, and I didn't get like super fat because my family wouldn't let me get super fat, but I was like, but then when I was 13 and I tried to ask this girl out, I realized that, you know what, I am not desirable. And that's when everything just switched. And I like literally lost so much weight just in 3 months and got a haircut. Like I looked like, I straight up looked like Justin Bieber after that. Like, people called me Justin Bieber. And like people treated me so much better after that. And then I went to high school and girls were way more friendly and receptive to me. Um, but I still felt like still felt insecure and inadequate,
Yeah.
and that's why I still couldn't get a girlfriend. And then, like this one girl, I'm gonna tell the full story at someday in one of my videos, but I gave her a drawing that took me forever to make, and somehow it ended up with her dad. Like she gave it to her dad, and then they told the school that I can't talk to her anymore. And after that, I was like, I was never the same again. That those two things are kind of what led me down this road of black pill and thinking about height and, I don't know, I can't really say the word, but involuntary celibate basically. Like
Yeah.
that's what led me down that road. Just a few really bad, like traumatizing experiences with girls that I never quite recovered from. But you know what's crazy is that one girl from when I was 13 who told the whole school I was a stalker. She watches all my Instagram stories now, and she has
Wow.
been for like 4 years. And we've talked on like DMs, and she's got like a fiance now, and she had a baby, and she's still watching all my stuff. And she doesn't even talk to me. So and what I find interesting is that her fiance kind of looks like me, kind of looks like an older version of me. So it's just so weird how she rejected me and then I turned into her type. And she actually apologized to me when I was 14. Like after I lost all the weight and all that, she messaged me and asked for my forgiveness, and I forgave her, and everything was friendly from then on. And she's actually a really good person, even though she told the whole school I was a stalker, she's a good person.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Okay, well, thank you. One thing I did, was there anything else that you wanted to talk about? Like when I asked you if you wanted to be interviewed, was there anything you were like, I hope Kat asked me about this thing?
Well, that was like what 4 weeks ago when we first talked about this. I didn't really think about it at all because I was just so overwhelmed and busy. And I had
Yeah.
just done that Raymond interview with Raymond Thoughts and Mine, and it didn't go very well. Like I thought it went great. Personally,
Yeah.
I thought it went great. But you guys, if anyone's watching wants to see something like kind of cringe and funny, if you go to his channel, find his live stream recording list and go down to the one with me and then watch the last 10 minutes, you'll see like I felt like I had autism after that. Like, what the hell is wrong with me? Or am I that socially inept that I didn't see that I was like pissing him off or something? I hope I haven't pissed you off at all. I can't.
No, I don't feel like you pissed me off. I'm enjoying our conversation.
Good.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
hope you're feeling good about this interview
I
as well.
am.
And yeah.
I am. Yeah, I don't want to say anything negative because he's also really sensitive. But like I I thought everything was going great, and I came away from that like completely doubting my own sanity, basically,
Yeah.
and really kind of upset. But I'm happy about the way this has gone. I'm walking away from this positive, And I just remember a few days ago, I thought, I'm so depressed. I'm probably going to end up talking about why I'm so depressed the whole time. But I'm not like as depressed as I was 2 days ago, even though I'm still
Yeah.
depressed. So I hope that I didn't like bore people with shit like that.
No, I don't think so. I think a lot of people like to resonate with those kinds of feelings and opinions, right? Like a lot of people do live through difficult lives, even to varying extents. You know, some maybe more intense, many probably less intense than what you've gone through. Um, but they can still like see themselves in your story, I'm sure. And there's like 20 people watching, so that's I'm not sure if that's a good or bad number for
Is
you,
that
but
how's that for you? Is that more than usual or less?
I've just started live streaming recently. You know, I used to just do my
Oh,
edited videos, but I'm feeling like live streaming is just a way to connect more authentically. And like I struggle a lot with the same issues that you do. Well, maybe not quite the same. I will get too in my head and be like, I made this video, I spent 3 days editing it, and now I'm too scared of the reaction that people are going to have, and I won't post it ever. I have so many videos that are fully edited, they're on my channel, they have thumbnails and everything, and I'm like, I can't post this. I'm like, this is too much. I just
wow.
can't do it. And they're not even that
Yeah,
intense. They're
I don't know how that is. I've never done that. But I know a lot of people struggle with that, especially on TikTok with drafts. Um, but yeah, that sucks. That's a lot of work. But maybe you'll post it. Maybe you'll post them at some point.
No, I will,
Maybe.
but that's why I've started live streaming because I know it's just a dumb anxiety and that I just have to push through it because like it's just life. Sometimes you feel
Yeah,
uncomfortable and you got to do uncomfortable things like
I'm gonna
make yourself feel exposed.
exactly. It's a exposure therapy. I'm gonna start
Yeah,
live streaming at some point. It's just like I need to get my videos in a rhythm that is sustainable, that is less extremely heavy labor intensive, and like more consistent, more consistent views. Like I need to have more subscribers. I feel like, and and then I'll start live streaming. My life is just too busy. I can't with the business and the TikTok.
yeah,
Like I can't fit live streaming in there at this point. That's why I like doing these. I like being a guest so far, but
yeah,
I had to spend weeks like working in overdrive to be able to do this with you here today. Otherwise, I would be a week behind and I wouldn't be able to post a video next week.
yeah. Well,
So
I really appreciate you doing that for the sake of this live stream. So thank you.
yeah, it's been fun. Um, I hope that I hope that they enjoyed it. And is it gonna be is the recording gonna be up somewhere?
Yeah, it'll be the live stream. I might like download it and then edit it a little bit and re-upload it,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna leave the live like available. So I'll send you the link again if you want me to.
Okay, cool. Maybe you can bleep out like one of the parts where I said my dad, you know, purchased something for me. I don't know. I think the statute of limitations are complete. Um I don't know. It might be too difficult. But yeah, I just hope that me saying stuff like that my dad did for me is not going to cause any problems for him. I
Yeah.
don't think it should, but yeah,
Okay,
it's a
yeah.
big part of my story.
It definitely seems like it was a very influential series of events in your life. So,
Yeah. Okay, Kat. Well, hope you have a good evening. It's cold out here.
yeah, you go get warm.
Okay. You,
Have a
you
great
have
night.
have a good night.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much for
Bye.
chatting again. Have a great night. Bye.
You too.